I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.
All right, so due to our top 5 discussion that we had last week, we actually did have a commenter who did throw out their own top 5 of their sci-fi shows. So, excuse me, shout out to Christine C for actually leaving a top 5 thing that is actually a little different than what even we did.
Thank you, Christine. We appreciate the feedback.
Yep. So a fellow Canadian viewer up there, and also one of my subscribers from the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel. So I appreciate that she actually came over. She told me that because of the sci-fi conversations and the funny titles, that's why she actually is interested. So nice. Her top 5. Oh, actually, let's see here. Let's go from her honorable mentions, as it were. So she's got Star Trek, any, Stargate, any, Battlestar Galactica, old and new, Alien Nation, which I think I barely remember.
Was that a Fox show?
I think so, but I don't know what it was. I thought that was one of those truther type shows.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was more like X-Files.
I was gonna say nobody even said X-Files.
Yeah.
But she's got V. Yeah, nobody put V out there, either old or new.
Didn't I mention it?
No, you didn't.
No, I thought I did. I was thinking about it.
As much as I've re-listened to that episode, nope. And then she also included Babylon 5. So that's all her honorable mentions, like things that didn't quite make the list. So her top 5 was Kolchak, the Night Stalker. I have no idea.
Some of the things she listed, I think they're Canadian only because I've never heard of them. Michael probably
No, that's not true because I know everything but that. So, but she's also older. So that could be a much older show. She's older than Mike. So, let's see. Her number 4 is Andromeda. I saw Andromeda.
I remember Andromeda.
You know, Hercules in space. It wasn't that good of a show. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it was halfway.
It's her number 4. I feel like you just lost a fan now.
No, because
jumped on her number 4
because there was
you
another
called her
one.
Old and then said your number 4 sucked.
Well, no, it didn't suck. It just wasn't that good. It actually got worse over time, to be honest. I watched a lot of Andromeda, but I also saw a lot of it out of order. So it is what it is. But there was one that nobody mentioned, and my brain just went blank on it. What was it called? It was another one of those, outer space shows. The guy and the 2 main leads ended up on Stargate SG-1 eventually. Do you know what I'm talking about? Farscape. Nobody mentioned Farscape. I was like, interesting. No. Okay, so her number 3 was Defiance, which I did watch, at least the first season. That was the weird alien taking over future that took place, I think is it St. Louis that has the arch? Yeah, so like
that. You're talking about the Freedom Arch, the big thing?
Yeah, the Freedom Arch at St. Louis. So it takes place in future St. Louis underground after like everything's been leveled and forced underground due to the alien invasion. It was an okay show, but I don't remember much about it other than the fact that somehow the arch stayed despite everything else getting smushed and crammed underground. Primeval. I did watch Primeval.
I don't remember that one.
So it was like Torchwood with dinosaurs. So instead of aliens,
I've never watched Torchwood. Y'all talked about that last week.
I know.
I only know it's part of Doctor Who because you said that.
Yeah. So that's just me including that idea. So it's kind of a special forces thing that ends up getting put together, a couple scientists and stuff like that, because somehow these weird time rifts open up and dinosaurs keep coming through.
So Jurassic Park Dominion. Got it.
Yes, but in this case, they're dinosaurs from the actual past, not man-made dinosaurs. And then, of course, at the top, because she and I have specifically talked about it, Doctor Who from 2005 and up, including Torchwood. So it's fine. It is what it is.
Christine, I need you to write back in. Do you like the girl doctor? Does she count in your world? Tell me why Shoki and Mike are wrong for not liking the girl doctor.
Here's the problem. It's not that we dislike her. We dislike what they did with her. So, bat nipples. It's not. I'm
pretty sure it didn't. Now, ready for me to impress you a little bit with Doctor Who trivia? Maybe, possibly.
Sure.
If I remember correctly, from the zeitgeist of hanging with nerds, didn't she used to be one of the other the actress used to be one of the other doctors, like tag-alongs, like they're Robin, and then she became the doctor?
No. She was never on the show before. She was on a different show entirely.
Okay. Which show was she on before?
Broadchurch. And I think
Why that one sounds familiar?
Broadchurch is a crime drama show.
Like a detective? Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
think I've seen that one.
But the thing is, I think that David Tennant was also on Broadchurch. So that is across. Yeah. So she was on Broadchurch. I believe, maybe I'm wrong. Is that her? No, there she is. So yeah, she was on Broadchurch with David Tennant, and who was Doctor Who. So there is a connection, but no. They've had other people who have wrapped around cast wise from earlier in Doctor Who and come back around and stuff like that. To play main characters like Freema Agyeman. She was in season 2 during the episode that Mike was talking about where the Daleks versus the Cybermen. So she worked at Torchwood 1 as it was then, where it was like a massive hidden secret organization, almost like MIB. So she died there. And then she comes back at the beginning of season 3 as a completely different character and then references the fact that her cousin that people said that she looks a lot like used to work at Canary Wharf. I saw you sneeze.
Gotcha.
Bless you.
Well, I muted it so it didn't record it.
Yep. So it's okay. I still blessed you. Either way.
Thank you.
So, we have a bonus person that popped in.
What's up?
How's it going, buddy? So guys, before the actual episode really starts, I do want to give an adult content warning because we do talk quite a lot about sexual things. We do talk quite a lot about physical abuse and mental illness and even bits of transgenderism and things like that. So if you are sensitive to any of these topics, or if you are a younger viewer / listener, I would suggest, excusing yourself from this one. We do have a very, very long conversation between different things near the end of this. So if you are sensitive to any of these very specific topics, I would suggest setting your way out. If you are a parent and you have children around, you may want to either have them leave the room or whatever if it's something you do not want them to hear. So, all right, guys, let's get into the main episode.
You there?
Yep. You got me?
It seemed to cut out for a second there.
Because I stopped talking to get a clean slate.
Oh, okay.
Fucker. Anyways, guys, welcome back to it. Now, I almost said my other show that I do. Now You Made It Awkward podcast episode 9. And yeah, we're doing things a little bit different this week because we are down a mic. That is
the person, not the equipment.
Exactly. So our comic relief crusader is out sick this week, so we hope he gets better. He said he's got a long-lasting cold, but that's okay. I'm still here. I'm Shoky. You can find me at all the Shoky related things, all in the comments description down below. I've been drinking already. And then of course we do have the Rickster over here.
Oh, we're not calling me Rickster ever. But yeah, I'm here.
I did it the second time you were ever on. You didn't even catch it. So yeah, Rikki over there who does the promos for Nerd Rage Radio. And
that's me.
Speaking of Nerd Rage Radio, we have a special guest on today. We have an Uncle Dolphin.
What's up?
Nice. Going on, Joe?
It's Joe. No.
Same shit, different day, bruh.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, it's been a few years since you and I talked last. We
it's been a couple years, yeah.
Yeah, we talked for a year one day.
You talked for a year one day?
Yeah.
Dude, we started we started recording I think at like 7:30 and we ended around noon and we weren't even done talking. We just needed to stop to go eat.
Yep.
That was a fun nerdcast. It's available over on the Shoky channel. And by the way,
I'm gonna assume it was about anime.
It was about everything, man.
Oh yeah, everything. We went through like everything.
Yes, and like that was pre Twitch days, all that kind of stuff. I think she had only Chris had just barely started at all on Twitch, like once or twice a week.
We like just moved into this house, so that was like a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. That was fun. That was a really good time. I definitely enjoyed that. We talked anime, we talked modeling, we talked Nerd Rage, we talked just TV shows, whatever. It was fun. Like no real goal, just talking. And we went for
kind of podcast.
4.5 fucking hours. Yeah, like that was fantastic. That was a Monday morning too.
Yep.
Nice. That's the proper kind of way to start a week off.
Hell yeah, it was. And by the way, I forgot to shout out Mike's stuff. So the Comic Relief Crusader on YouTube, he did just start a Facebook group instead of a page, but it works. If that's the way he wants to go, that's fine. No big deal. I'll actually have to link that in the description as well. And if you want to get any of his merch, it's available on Freelance Graphics with a K. You decide where the K goes.
Between you two motherfuckers, all these links you're putting in here, there's gonna be no videos. It's just gonna be a bunch of fucking links from YouTube.
Well, that's why I always put that stuff at the bottom and the relevant links above it. You would know if you ever actually went through the description.
I don't need to look at our links. If I want to know any of y'all's opinion, I just ask you on here.
That's true. Also, guys, if you want to help support the channel itself, your favorite new podcast that you're listening to, which, by the way, we have a lot of new listeners. We just broke a little over 200 downloads in the last week or so.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yep. Well, I should
Thank
say
you.
that's lifetime. So that's over the few weeks we've been doing it, and it's available on been available on Podbean. So, and then episode 6 is still the most downloaded one. So I guess they really like that title. That's the eye-catching
or the actual podcast. They liked it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's the one that everybody was passing around too.
Yep. So if you do want to follow us on all of the Podbeans or Apple Music or Samsung or any of those things, actually, which one? Looking at the stats, the Samsung podcast thing actually overtook Podbean downloads. So there's a lot of people listening on Samsung. I never knew that was a thing. So
I didn't even know that was a thing either, bro.
Exactly.
I'm just not hearing it about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and also, like I was going to say, if you want to support the channel, I do have a merch store for us with the nice logo on it. In fact, I am drinking out of the very first Naimia mug.
Don't call it that.
I can call it whatever the fuck I wanted. I came up with it. So I'm drinking I'm drinking alcohol out of my coffee mug.
Nice.
Because I had plenty of coffee this morning. So
you have an Irish coffee.
No, because it's not coffee flavored. It's chocolate peanut butter flavored. So it's a chocolate liqueur with a peanut butter whiskey in it.
Shut the
awesome.
fuck up.
That sounds fucking awesome.
It's fucking good.
No, it does. Dude, if I want chocolate peanut butter, I eat a Reese's cup. If I want whiskey, I just drink whiskey. Y'all are some crazy motherfuckers.
No, it's fucking good. It's fucking good. It's like the Mountain Dew drink that I was drinking last week with the tequila and the tahini and stuff like that. That was fantastic.
He's drinking some beer called Unicorn Jizz or something one week. I mean, like, he drinks all these weird IPAs and stuff all the time.
First
fancy motherfucker over
First
here.
of all of that was completely misinformation.
It was close enough.
It was not called unicorn piss. It was,
I said jizz. I didn't say jizz.
Okay, jizz. I was being nicer. That was
Which one is better or worse?
Exactly. It was a rainbow sherbet flavored beer, which wasn't great, if I'm honest, but the can artwork was fantastic. But not drinking beer. Not drinking beer this week. Drinking liquor and water. Trying to keep it balanced.
You can't call it liquor if it's chocolate and peanut butter flavored.
You sure as fuck can.
Some Bailey's Irish cream, some amaretto.
Yeah. I'd be down with that. Surprisingly, I don't have any of that. I mostly have vodka and bourbons in the house, and
those are
wine
mixes
as well.
though. Nobody just pours themselves a cup of amaretto and drinks it.
Sure you do, dude. You can drink amaretto straight over some ice. It tastes nice.
I mean, you could drink a warm cup of piss if you wanted to. I wouldn't suggest doing it though. You don't just drink amaretto. That's gross.
I mean,
what if the piss tastes like amaretto?
I mean, I am not one to shy away from drinking some piss, bro.
Hey, like, if it came down to it, just like in Dune, just give me a recirculation system and.
No. I choose to drink piss, bro. Come on. You never had a hot lady pee in your mouth, bro. I'm just saying it's not bad.
I'm gonna say no. Just no on my side.
I'm gonna sit here quietly.
See, I knew Joe would 100% fit in the vibe of the show. That's why it's called Now You Made It Awkward. And he just jumps straight in with the piss drinking.
It's only awkward for you, bruh. Oh, whoever's listening.
Nice.
You don't know what you're missing out.
Yes.
I was gonna say I've smelled my wife piss. I'm pretty sure I'm okay with missing out. Well, you use the same bathroom with somebody for years, you're gonna catch whiffs of things every now and then.
Yeah.
You can't quite avoid that. But to each their own. We're not gonna shame anybody here.
No king shaming, bro.
No kink shaming.
Not at all.
Overly sex positive in this bitch.
That's it.
That's true. Yes, definitely overly sex positive. Yes.
There's no such thing as somebody saying absolutely no to something. It just takes a little more convincing. That's it.
We do not endorse this thing.
That's not true.
No, it's not an actual answer. Just try harder.
That's it.
Sounds great. Sounds great, Rikki. They have anti-no pills as well. If you just really don't want to bother with an actual answer, you can
So
totally
now
go that
you're
way
taking
too.
it in the direction I was not taking it.
Hey, no's not an answer if they don't know they took the pill.
I'm talking about
Seriously,
from
joking.
yourself.
I'm very much
I
joking,
would
people.
never let a hot. I mean, I would never let a hot girl piss in my mouth. Yeah, that's not really a hard no. You just haven't quite convinced yourself yet that you would. That's all it's going to take.
Not in my mouth.
Little
On me, that's another story.
It doesn't taste that bad, bro. I'm telling you.
Well, I guess if it's
From experience.
if they're hydrated enough and it's not like been sitting there a while.
Yeah, and that when you're in the mood is just hot, bro. It doesn't. You don't even care.
Remember, we got there. I'm talking about whiskey.
Squeamish and picky when you're horny, man. I'm just saying.
You know what the fucked up part is? I think his hot piss sounds more. Sounds like something I would rather try over your chocolate peanut butter whiskey.
You don't even have to finish the statement. I know what you're gonna say. God damn. Well, I was gonna say, to be fair, Joe, I don't know anybody as horny as you.
Yeah, me either. Unfortunately.
Yeah, like, you are about. You've probably jerked off on the way home,
bro. PNC, bro. Look. I fucking stand the PNC. The post nut clarity. You don't make any fucking life decisions unless you've nutted. Don't make any serious decision. Yep. Don't even buy expensive shit until you've nutted, bro.
I was gonna say you don't sign paperwork. You don't try to take out a loan.
Nope.
Like, I'm thinking about buying this here Hasbro Unicron. Let me go stroke one out real quick.
Really, it clears you up, man. It puts everything in perspective, and your priorities in life are very clear directly after your nut.
Remember when we talked about last week? When we talked about Bobby and the sitting down and doing the Patreon discussion, the Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Yes.
You talk about having access to someone that you see as like not necessarily a celebrity, but like a personality.
It's a celebrity in our world.
It's a public figure.
You're literally sitting down with no problem with Joe. You know, I mean, you know, even the first time I asked Joe to come on and talk with me, you know, we didn't know each other. I only knew him via listening to Nerd Rage, and we did a brief conversation on Facebook. And then we sit down and we talk like normal fucking people, have an easy discussion, no problem. It's like sometimes, depending on the person, obviously, you can literally just do this. Like,
yes,
it's like, and Joe, as a creator, Joe knows this. It's like the only difference between you and me is what side of the camera we're on.
Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, it's the same shit.
Yeah. And
people, bro, we're just fucking people.
And let's be honest here, people know way too much about Joe and Crusader in the Twitch chat.
When I was at Bobby's house, I asked both him and Pinkerton when I had a chance to talk to them one-on-one, and I'm going to ask you, Joe, too, is being, and I'm using you guys strictly because I did do the Nerd Rage run and listen to them all and everything. I know more about you personally than I even know SHOKY, who I'm doing a podcast with. Is it ever weird to you when somebody walks up? Like here, we're still kind of, like even here, it's still kind of anonymous because we're on a podcast, you know, we're not face to face talking to each other. But like, say we're at Bobby's house and we're meeting for the first time. I know all this personal information about you. You know very little about me. Is it weird to have a conversation with somebody that knows that much in-depth personal information about you and know that like starting the face-to-face relationship, they're already kind of like a leg up on you than you are on them, if that makes sense? You're not really on even ground.
I mean, for me, no, just because like I wasn't always a content creator, and even when I was on the podcast for the longest time, I don't see it that way. It just, you know, it just happens to be recorded. I'm just having a conversation with my friends. But I have been a content consumer like all my life, right? And I listen to, I don't anymore because I don't have time, but I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, and I very much understand the dynamic, so that being on the other side now, it doesn't bother me. Because like when you know, like you said, when I listen to someone's podcast hours and hours and hours, days after days, you know so much about them, but you do have to internalize sometimes that they don't even know you exist. So the problem with people on the internet and with people being accessible in the comment section is you start talking to people like they know you too, and that's just people who are not very self-perceptive. Like I hardly ever leave comments or like reach out to talk to people like I know them, because I realize I don't. Yeah. Right. So being on the receiving end, and especially having been on Twitch where there is limited interaction, right? It is live, right? I don't see most of the people that I talk to, but there is a feedback there. It makes it so it's normalized for me that people know things about me and I don't necessarily know who they are.
Yeah, but you're also like a super open person. It's not
Yeah,
like
that helps a lot because I don't have there's no private side to me.
yeah, they haven't dug out every little bit of information about you from the opposite side. Like they have a little bit of info on you, and then they go nuts searching the internet for everything on every episode you've ever talked about, every podcast, every Twitch stream where they're literally digging everything out on their own. You're just an open person who's willing to talk about anything, and that's one reason why I've really liked. Actually, we've rarely gotten to actually sit down and talk, but that's why I love talking to you, because you're not reserved.
Nothing to hide, bro. This is just me. And like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of having a conversation if you have something to hold back, right?
Yeah. And you don't.
I think I want to say I'd had the conversation either with Bobby or I meant to have it with him, that I consider you like one of the most real human beings I've ever listened to.
Agreed.
Because you put it all out there. You're like, this. Like, you can't dig for a skeleton on me because I'm putting it all the fuck out there. This is all of it. If
he lives across the street from it.
Yeah. But if you're willing to deal with this, then we can be friends. If any of this phases you, you might as well fuck off now because this is me.
Yeah,
it's a great way to, like, I found over the years is the best way to weed out people. Like, you don't have to have that awkward face, right? If you open from the beginning with, you don't have to find out like 3 months later that you don't jive. You don't have to find out 3 years later you actually don't get along because political views or whatever, because you never talked about it. Like, you already know everything. I always say that about dating too. Like, people who like don't talk about politics or religion till like they're deep into dating. I'm like, well, that's how you're gonna get hurt, bro. Like, by the time I date someone, they know my stance on fucking religion. They know my stance on abortion. They know my stance on having kids or not. Like, that's not some shit you should find out later, you know? Yeah. And I find the same way with friendships.
Yeah. So the first time you're balls deep, that's when you bring up the abortion discussion. Yeah. It's like, can I blow my load now, or do I need to pull out? Because I don't know how you feel about abortion.
Right. You should know ahead of time.
I mean, that's the icebreaker, right? Once you're balls deep, is like at that point you can talk about anything. It's like, I'm inside you right now.
Right. It's when they're peeing in your mouth and you're gurgling a little bit that you can ask anything you want to ask.
Well, you can't really, because you're currently gargling piss. It's a little hard to talk.
Have we talked about gonorrhea recently?
And also say that's like why like I don't get offended. People can't offend me. People can't insult me because there's nothing anyone can say to me that I already haven't either heard or said to myself. I think that's the best way to be. Like, people can't phase you if they can't be worse to you than you are to yourself, bro.
That's true. When you're self-deprecating and you hate yourself more than anyone else possibly can, nobody's going to hurt you more than you hurt yourself when you look in the mirror.
And it doesn't even have to be deprecating, right? It's just a bit of honesty. And I think in general, people aren't like either honest or self-reflective. People aren't introspective. They don't think about themselves realistically. They have an idealized version of themselves, which we all do. We should strive to be the idealized version of ourselves and don't think that we're already there. See yourself as who you really are, then nothing's going to faze you.
Yep, I agree.
I'm in agreement with you. I don't think you're wrong. Yeah. But I do. Sometimes when I listen, I'm like, man, dude, Joe talks like I thought when I was like 14, 15 years old. Like, he is.
Joe is 14 still.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like it's a curse, man. Being as horny as I am is a fucking curse. I'm telling you. Like, I wish I wasn't. I wish the age thing had happened. You know, where they like, oh, when you get older, you know, you'd be less horny and shit. I'm like, nope. I'm 40.
It's gone the opposite direction.
It has not fucking calmed down at all.
To be fair, you probably have significantly higher testosterone than a normal male.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's all the working out.
When I hit about 35, maybe 37, it actually went back up for me again. Like, I was hitting that little, I'm good. You know, I was hitting that little like mid-30s thing. Yeah. But then about 37 or so, it kicked back in again. And I'm like, holy fuck. My wife was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm going through puberty again. Just take it.
Dual puberties. See, it like, unfortunately, I was not sexually active during the prime, as it were, in my 20s. Like, I had no relationships, no prospects, no nothing. It wasn't until I was damn near 30 that I finally got into another relationship that even had any sexual stuff whatsoever. So it's like I wasted all of that juice basically being single. I'm not even going to say so to speak because I'm saying in the literal sense. But like, you know, and then I had that relationship for a while, and then, you know, was single again for another period of time, and, you know, a little bit more drive then. And then, like, I think within the last year or so, maybe it's just the COVID depression or something, you know, just the whole world is basically stuck in seasonal affective disorder, you know.
I'm the opposite, dude. In COVID lockdown, dude, my wife was like, "You need to go in the fucking the other room and
You need to
sleep
go in the
there."
other
And
room.
I was like full time, like, come on, we ain't doing nothing. We can't go to look. We can't even go to Walmart. Like, we
Yeah.
fucking
Just fuck, bro.
I guess at the beginning of that, probably it was a little bit better. I'm just saying, like, the longer this bullshit has lasted, it's just not been fun. But you know, it's
Yeah.
and
For
considering
people for COVID, but like I had the best time of my life. I'm like the best. Like 2020 was an amazing year for me. 2021
Yeah.
was pretty damn good too. Like
True.
I did really good.
you hit a hell of a boost where a lot of people got like fucking nerfed hard.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's also because like I'm a hermit by nature.
I was gonna say you're a shut in. Yeah.
Yeah, my life didn't change. Like my lifestyle didn't change. They were like, "Oh, you can't go out." And I'm like, "Well, what's the difference between now and before?"
They're like, you can only go to
now
work.
I don't have to make up an excuse. Like, now I don't have to excuse my behavior. Now it's everybody's supposed to stay
Exactly.
the fuck
And I don't have to talk to people anymore, and like I get to wear a mask. I love wearing masks. Like it makes me more unapproachable, and I don't have to fucking pretend to smile at people at work. I can just fucking be grumpy all day. It's amazing. I still don't have to wear a mask anymore, and I still wear a mask at work. I'm never not wearing a mask at work again.
A very unique take on the entire situation there.
Yeah, I mean, I love COVID. COVID was great.
My job became easier with the COVID because being in a medical facility, they didn't want us around a lot of the patients and stuff. So they were just keeping the patients like in their room. So like right now with everything opening back up again, they're allowed to go into the main dining room, which means they'll come right over to the kitchen door and make like in on-demand stuff right at that moment. Whereas during COVID, they were locked down. They didn't come over and ask us for nothing because they weren't allowed out of their room. It was so easy.
And there was no fucking traffic, man. Oh my god, I miss it.
Believe
I miss all
me,
the fucking non-essentials being home, bro. Please,
dude, my job infinitely got better for that. You know, in the cardboard industry, as it were. It significantly got better at least the beginning when everybody was forced to stay home. Now, mind you, it you know, mildly crippled part of my job, but then also when schools weren't allowed to go back, it was great when I no longer had to deal with school zones all the time.
Yeah.
Also not having to do direct face anything with customers, not having to get signatures for anything, which we still technically don't have to. We can sign for them as long as they know it, you know. Yeah. You know, we don't have to hand anybody anything to sign anymore. It's like, no, we're good. And then they completely understand. Before it was like, oh, no, but I want to. And I'm like, hey, fuck off. He's like, you're not touching my stylus.
I remember one of the first times I went out. One of the first times I went out driving when all this shit kicked in. I remember getting on like the main road through town here. It's called 200. It's like their main drag through town, or one of. And it was a ghost town. I was like, dude, this looks like post-apocalyptic zombie movie shit. Like there was,
it's amazing.
And it took a split second, and my brain literally went, "This is fucking awesome!" For a split second, my mind didn't know what to do with it, and then I loved it, and now I hate it again because they're all back out there.
Considering we never did hardcore lockdowns, we did the the essential workers and stuff like that here. Mm-hmm. You know, so stores and everything still had to function for the most part, at least. You know, the big box stores, anywhere you need to go shopping and stuff like that, grocery stores and whatnot. I do think the most annoying thing they did was forcing everyone through one door slowly. You know, it's like, everybody come through this one door. I was like, that's the best way to keep germs away from each other. You know, just like have everyone come through one door. You know, that's great. And hose everyone down. Oh, dude, we went to IKEA in the middle of fucking COVID. Do you have any idea how big a nightmare that was?
Bro, I got everything online, man. I didn't go nowhere for like a year. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
I don't like IKEA. I don't like IKEA during regular times. Like I went there for the first time ever, and I had to go through the whole store. Like ours in Orlando is 2 stories and all that. And it has all the setups. So I had to go through it one time. After that, I figured out the layout and how it works. And every other time I've been there since then, I just go right through where the register at, go straight into the warehouse.
Straight into the warehouse. Yeah.
What I want.
And that should be considered a warehouse too.
Yeah. Yep. So I told the wife before, you know, whenever we need something from IKEA, you know, if I need a new Billy shelf or whatever, I'd tell her, I was like, okay, I'm going to IKEA. I'm going buying. I'm not going shopping. If you want to go shopping, we're gonna plan this out different because I know
we're
what
taking
I'm.
separate cars.
Yeah, it's like I know what I'm going for. I know exactly where it is. I'm in and out. I ain't gonna play this game of wandering the whole goddamn store looking at stuff. I know what I'm after. So it's like, and she's like, well, what's the point of that? I was like, I did all my shopping online.
My stuff, hello?
Yeah.
Like,
I was like,
yeah, I'm not a window shopper, man. Just like go in for the objective. You get the thing, you get the fuck out.
Yeah. The only thing that's nice
Alright,
is
so-
when you see the setup rooms, like when you see the whole setup rooms and stuff like that. Like I actually really love their kitchen setups where you can literally buy this kitchen for 15 grand, like everything that's here. I'm like,
yep.
Not gonna lie.
I don't.
If
I
could.
always look at those and think of them as pipe dreams because there ain't no way your kitchen's ever gonna look like that.
Oh no, that's true. But I'm saying like if you had if you had a blank space where you're building, and you could walk in there and literally pick your room out as it sits, and like, okay, well I want to eliminate this cabinet, but swap this one in, and the countertops are included, and the fucking sink, and all the fucking fixtures, and all this nonsense, and we're like, fucking done. It's like, I don't have to fucking picture it or anything like that. It's like a model home in and of itself. And I love when they set up like the either Swedish or like Japanese style tiny apartments or something like that, where it's literally room to room to room. I'm like, this is awesome because most people can't visualize.
No, it gives you a great idea. If you're not an interior decorator, you can just like, I'm going to copy this.
Exactly. You can literally copy it. You can say, how much is everything in this room in one shot? There it is. And you can scan the barcode, run downstairs. They'll fucking pull everything for you. You just back the fucking moving truck up. Or get one big ass delivery, whatever. Because like we wanted a new coffee table or a kitchen table, I should say, and they won't even let you take it home. Like you have to fucking get it delivered because one of the fold out ones and all that nonsense. They're like, you're not gonna fit this shit in your car. Or well, you could if you had a pickup, but
I was gonna say I have a Explorer with the third row fold down. I go to IQ with just my truck. I don't.
Yeah. We still have small cars around here. We have
Dude, they wanted to charge me $100 to ship something from that IKEA to me. And I'm like, dude, it cost me $20 in gas and an hour of my life. I can go get it myself. I'm not. No, thank you.
Like if it's $100 flat and I can just get all the shit I want for $100, that's another story.
Yeah.
Like with the small stuff, like last time I ordered my dioders and the Norflies to light the billies and stuff. I ordered that shit online because it was $5 for delivery, and I just ordered all that shit, and it all came in the same package because it's like it's all small shit. We only charge $5 for it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I don't have to go to the store for this. Done.
I mean, that's why I like BBTS. It's $4 no matter what you can order a fucking statue or you can order a fucking Marvel Legends, $4.
So I'm gonna repeat this. This is gonna come up in my week, and Rikki already knows this. I have a problem with BBTS's $4 fucking shipping at the moment.
It's
Why? Because
FedEx
they're sending it, at least on my side, I don't know if it's everybody, they're sending it FedEx Smart Post. So in theory, it should go through the FedEx system, get delivered to the post office should deliver it. That's the way it should work. That's not what's happening. They're actually sending it via FedEx Ground. And because it's a non-priority package, FedEx just says, fuck you, we'll leave it wherever we want for as long as we want, and we'll get to it when we're ready. So I had 3 shipments come this week. All of them took 4 days longer, maybe 5 days longer than they should have because of the way they did it. It was literally just sitting at hubs for days on end instead of just continuing progress.
I've never had a problem with that.
And I never have either.
I'm going to tell you, Big Bad Toy Stores, they got good customer services. You contact them and tell them to look it up. They'll give you store credit for that shit. They'll apply it to your next bill.
But see,
I'm just not an impatient person. When it comes to shipping stuff, I'm not the guy who sits at the fucking door waiting for shit. I mean, like, I don't care if it's like a week late. Like, I'm getting it regardless. Because usually I pre-order stuff anyway. I'm like, I already waited fucking 8 months or whatever the fuck for this. Exactly. 4 more days ain't gonna hurt me.
Speaking of which,
did you get Mezco? I did Mezco for a while, so I'm used to the year and a half, 2 year wait.
Pre-ordering way out ahead of time. Well, I was going to say, speaking of that, did you get the Kamina and Simone statues from BBTS?
Oh yeah, they're coming out soon.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if they came in or not. I had to cancel that pre-order because I just realized I'm running out of money and room.
That's the life.
Yeah. So
Joe, he made me promise not to tell you, Joe, but he didn't realize how close you and I were as friends. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that SHOKY did say because you were coming on and doing this special for us, he was gonna hook you up with that drill form Gurren Lagaan statue.
No.
See, first of all, he already knows that's full of shit. Well, because
that'd be crazy.
he knows that I'm not just gonna give up my core drill.
That's it. That's the word
Yes,
I was looking for.
exactly. You couldn't even fuck it up. You couldn't even fuck it up properly. Well, here's the problem. While Joe would be the person who I would give it to, my buddy Eric would probably kill somebody to take it out of here without anyone noticing.
Well, I'll tell you what. Me and Eric can fight. Fuck him. Joe gets
it. Believe me, if I have the choice, it would go to Joe because it is one of the coolest little Proplica things made.
Yeah, it's fucking pretty fucking badass.
So speaking of Gurren Lagann, we might as well. So
you like that segue setup? You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection.
Actually, I kind of set it up when I went through the BBTS statue thing. Either way, Rikki said last week that if we had Joe on ever, he would actually want to talk to Joe about Gurren Lagann. So Rikki, here's your stage. I made it happen.
It happened. I've done the the Nerd Rage listen backs and stuff, and you've talked about it for a couple of years in there about how much you love the show. And I'd mentioned it last week. I'm lazy when it comes to stuff that I'm not really super into. Like I won't go out of my way for it, but if it's set on a platter, I'll go check it out. Right. And you had mentioned it, and then SHOKY and Mike had mentioned it. Well, SHOKY, this is literally how lazy I am, Joe. SHOKY spelled it out in our group chat, and I copy and pasted it into my Netflix to search for it. I wasn't going to try to figure out how to spell it, but he did it. I copied and pasted
it with the 2 N's and stuff anyway. Yeah.
Was it 2 N's or 2 R's or 2 G's or 3 A's? It's actually hard to figure out.
Yeah, the 2 A's on Lagaan, they throw that in there sometimes, but he did that. I copied and pasted it in, and I immediately messaged. And by the way, I got shit too from SHOKY last week because I messaged you and said, "Guess what I'm doing? I'm finally watching Gurren Lagann."
Dude, anytime I hear someone getting in on it, I'm like, it gets me excited.
And what had precipitated us, wanting to get you on here talking about it was you had said something that really piqued my, I guess, curiosity. Because a lot of people talk about how much they love a show or they like this, and this. But you finished our conversation with, I try to live my life like they do in that show. And my brain wants you to explain what you mean by that.
There's a lot, dude, there's so many quotes. There's so many things about that show that that you can live by. But like my favorite quote, and I have it written in a lot of places in my life, in my books and in my whiteboard and stuff, is we evolve beyond the person we were a minute before. Little by little, we advance a little bit further with each turn. That's how a drill works. And that is where it is. Just a little fucking bit. You just turn a little bit fucking more and you get a little bit better and you keep going and you get deep. And like that itself motivates me. That's like, I enjoy working out. I enjoy lifting. I enjoy, not necessarily enjoy, but I do tracking my calories and stuff for the fitness, like all of that. And even this came out right when I went to pharmacy school, right when I started pharmacy school, and like that helped me get through that as well. It's just like I just memorized one more fucking page, and at the end, I got my degree.
That's pretty. I like that. That's pretty cool to use that and spread it out over every aspect.
Yeah, and it's like kick logic to the curb. Like who the hell do you think I am?
Who the hell do you think we are?
Just fucking do you, man. That's all you gotta do. You worry about you. Like that's one of the sayings on our stream. It's like be responsible for your own gains. Meaning, don't fucking worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what they're saying about you. You worry about yourself. And that's all you have to fucking worry about. And nice. Another one is. For people, especially me, like I actually I don't know, because people who know me from the surface, right, who knows me from podcasts or on stream and stuff, sees my personality and don't really understand who I am on the inside. Because I always say do everything with confidence. Like you do it, you don't have to be confident. You just fucking do things and say things with confidence, and that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
I'm actually have very poor self-image and I like actually not that confident of a person in many respects. But Kamina in the show was like, look, you don't have to believe in yourself. You believe in me, and I believe in you. So just believe in the me that believes in you, and that's good enough, right? And if you have someone in your life that you believe in, who believes in you, you can carry that on.
You can feed off of that positivity from them.
Exactly. Like, it's okay if you don't believe in yourself. Just know that the person you believe in does believe in you.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, there's so many things in that show, like so many fucking things, life lessons for me that I try to live by.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool because I noticed little stuff like that in there too, and I noticed the drill thing of the little turns.
Yep.
But I just looked at it different than how you just explained it, and that's why I wanted you to explain what you meant by you try to live by it, because I didn't think of it as a like the little engine that could. I think I can.
Yep.
The way you just explained it, like that, slowly getting there. I was just the way I thought of it was, instead of worrying about who I am right this second, like maybe this second I'm a failure, but literally just one little turn, I'm a different person than I was before that turn.
Exactly. I mean, that's what it is. You're that much better than the person you were before. Like, it doesn't matter how bad you are, you're still better than before.
Yeah. So I like that. I like how we both heard the same thing, and were in the same ballpark, but had two different. Like, you took the philosophy to a life goal, and I just had it very centered on one. So I like how people can do that with that one little thing, have different, views on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's art, and that's like that. I mean, like, it's a fun show, right? If you can just watch it for eye candy, it's great. It's got hot ladies, it's got big robots, it's got flashy fights, it's got like a lot of awesome tropes, and you can just take it as that and just enjoy it. But like, you look into it, there are messages there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's one thing about anime. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say with the whole idea of just behind anime is that there's a lot of deep, either philosophical or just personal messages in there that a lot of people take, reference to. A lot of people would say Naruto was one of their biggest inspirations. This is my ninja way, that kind of thing like that. It's like, you don't have to follow the path everyone else lays out before you. You can find your own way to do it, and you'll eventually find the people who will support you in the way you do things.
Exactly.
But then like the whole idea with
what is it, Joe? Be like water.
Yes, fucking Bobby, be like water, my friend. And like, I don't know any gym bro. Like, I don't know any fucking gym bro who was not at least cursorily into Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z has brought up an entire multiple generations of gym bros.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
And by the way, Joe, if for some reason you ever make it down here, like locally where I live, one of our local guys, I call him Mr. City I work from or live in. They literally opened up a noodle bar called Dragon Ball C.
Oh, fucking awesome!
And he's got a Kid Buu statue that he puts out front when they're open.
Fuck yeah!
So he's got a Super Saiyan blue, or I'm sorry, no, he's got a shirtless Super Saiyan Omen, or rather Ultra Instinct Omen Goku statue coming that he's also going to have inside. But it's a pretty small place for right now. But like, everything is Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and he's a short little Filipino guy. He's awesome. I love that guy. Shout out to San. He's a fantastic dude. He's all about growing our town, and then like also putting his fun little Asian spin on everything.
All right, let me hit it real quick. What's up, son?
God damn it! I figured he'd go there. I did want to say something towards the idea of the screw. Always turning.
Yep.
A long time ago, without even realizing it, I started saying this, and Facebook reminded me of it. Is that the only person that I have to be better than is me yesterday?
Yes, comparison is a thief of joy, especially, like, I don't know. A lot of people come to a stream to ask about fitness advice, or to compare, right, to different people. I'm like, unless you're a fucking genetic twin to somebody, there's not even any point to comparing. Just like, you will never be that person will never be you. Just compare you to yourself. That's it.
It's like Ollie London, trying to be Jinmin.
What?
Have you not seen this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there's a YouTuber influencer, quote unquote, named Ollie London. He's a British guy. He was probably on Vine, then he did YouTube, and he does TikTok and stuff like this. He's obsessed with Jinmin from BTS. And he's had and he's had all these surgeries to end up trying to look like him. He identifies as him. He identifies as Korean. He just
Wait, hold on.
Rikki.
Let me tell my favorite part. Hold on. Let me do this one. I want to do this one. Please let me tell Joe this one.
Tell him.
This is my favorite part. Okay. So he is literally trying to have his penis reduced in size because all Koreans have small dicks.
What the fuck? Hello?
It was one of the first things we talked about when Rikki came on.
he needed to. He needs a reference. He needs to somehow get a picture of the guy's dick so he can copy it.
I think he's tried, but he's going off the basic thing. Like I forgot what the exact amount, what the exact measurement was. He's going off the stereotypical size of a Korean male's penis. So
that's fucking dedication, though. You can't say it's not dedication when you're about willing to fucking take your fucking dick down.
It's true, but I feel like Ollie's on the anti-spirals though.
Like, I feel like it's racist as fuck for him to assume that he should chop his dick down. Because it'd be funny if he finds out later that the dude from BTS
he literally
or whatever has a huge donkey dick.
Yeah, but there's always outliers, man. There's always outliers no matter what stereotype it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just think that'd be hilarious. Like, he chops it off and finds out dude's got the second biggest dick in the world. That'd be funny as shit.
He can't fucking add it back on. It's a lot easier to take off and put back on, bro.
No, if it was the same size, like he finds out it's literally the same size as the dick he just chopped down. It was like,
bro.
No. But like the fact that he legitimately had different facelifts. You know, he had cheek implants. He tried to have his jaw and his face bones ground into shape. He tried to have eye surgery to make them. And
less round,
and it's
slantier.
Yes, but it actually failed. He looks way worse.
We're not allowed to say that.
I'll send
that's
you.
my word.
I will send you the pictures. I will send you the pictures, Joe, of this. It's insane because there's a side by side of what he actually looks like and then what Jinmin looks like, and it's still nowhere close. He just looks like
you're not going to unless you already look like a person. Even then, it's gonna be tough.
He's already just a normal Anglo-Saxon dude. He just looks like normal white dude. Is like you're gonna have to do a lot of work to look Korean.
Yeah, or it's not even gonna work, bro. Come on,
no, but
please.
But this is that mental instability kind of stuff, and I think that when you get to a certain point of fame, that it starts getting backed, and people really start treating you differently when you have a certain level of fame and supporting your weird and crazy bullshit. And it seems to be a thing that also happens quite a lot in Hollywood, not just in general. The YouTube
look
scene.
At fucking Kanye or any of the motherfuckers who do crazy fucking shit.
Kanye is on a different level though. Kanye is on that genius crazy, and I think that's one of the things.
That's arguable.
Yeah, but well, I mean, he does have
a genius.
No, but he's got a high IQ. I mean, like that kind of genius level.
Ted Bundy had a high IQ. What's that got to do with the price of tea in China?
Because he's also super crazy.
No offense meant, Joe. No offense meant.
Of course not.
I mean, as if
everybody used to say it all the time.
Well, because Joe's always keeping up with those tea prices.
Yeah.
That's more Chris's apartment.
Yes, I guess. That's funny. Also, shout out to Terrible Hime on Twitch.
Yep.
You might as well do some plugs.
That's where you'll find me more than anywhere else, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we were talking about the COVID thing, it's like realistically, you didn't go out any more than you ever did, but you were in public more often because you joined in her Twitch streams. More people saw you than probably ever have.
I
had more social interaction than I have in my entire life.
I know, isn't that weird though?
It is.
And
through the internet.
While we're on this subject, Joe, I'm going to say it now because I'll forget later because I've heard you mention about subbing to Twitch. I've never been on Twitch and all that. Make sure in Messenger, shoot me a link or something or how to do that so I can get y'all a subscription over there too.
I don't know any sub, but a follow would do. Stop by to say hi sometimes. Subscription costs money, and now we generally mean it. We both have good day jobs. We do Twitch for fun. We if people want to shoot us money, that's cool, but we actively discourage people from sending us money.
Yeah, it's not like YouTube. You follow in the way you subscribe.
Follow and following on Twitch is the same as subscribing on YouTube.
That's what I meant.
They purposely changed that. It'll be linked down below.
Information or whatever to do that. Cool. So
Rikki, it'll be linked in the description down below.
He doesn't read descriptions. He said that earlier, bro. Please.
That's true.
Plus, if you pay attention, SHOKY said there's 85 links going to be in that thing. How the fuck am I going to find this?
Because it'll be at the top above our merch links.
Okay, if it's at the very top. I'll go to the link.
Yes, and it will say Terrible Hime Twitch channel with a colon and then the link.
Now, can you explain the what is Terrible Hime?
Terrible Hime is princess in Japanese.
Okay,
so she's a terrible princess.
He doesn't listen. He doesn't do subs. He only does dubs.
No, you can't say I only do dubs. I'm watching one show that just happens to be dubbed. I
prefer dub. I tell you the truth, I prefer dub if it's decent. And nowadays, a lot of dubs are decent. Like back in the day, not so much.
Shoki,
Mhm.
suck my cock because
No,
Joe just agreed.
I
with
will
you.
not. Well,
Dubs.
the difference is
Dubs.
when you're watching a show, you can't see me doing quotes. When you're watching a show in the background and you're just listening, it's a different story, which a lot of people do consume media that way. When you actually have the time to sit down and watch it, I'm going to always go with subs.
Oh no, I always, unless the dub sounds awful to me, which some are, some do sounds awful. Unless the dub sounds awful, I go with I go with dub even when I'm watching.
Speaking of which,
Like-
I think we discovered that the Gurren Lagann dub on Netflix is actually updated because they actually say Simone instead of Simon.
Simon, nice.
Yeah, I was like, when he said that, I was
that.
like, interesting. I wonder what else they got right.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
like it goes off air and on air sometimes.
Mhm, yeah.
You know, like Netflix like rotates shit out.
Well,
Well, it's time for me to watch it again. I watch that shit at least once a year. Do you finish, Rikki? Do you finish the whole thing?
I was just telling him before you came on. I am at, it's either episode 23, 24, somewhere in there. It's the one where they're
it's ramping up, bro.
yeah, he's getting near the
it's
end.
where they're jumping into the universe in the ring.
Yes,
That's where
yes.
I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I
it
love that show
starts
so
getting
much.
it starts getting very no pun intended out there in the last couple episodes. It starts really playing with some nonsense, but it's a lot of fun.
And there's so many good quotes, so many good monologues, just so many good ideas in general. Like other than like merchandise, like people give me, like, you know, I have Skullface stuff, I have Nerd Rage stuff, but like only thing I ever wear logo wise is Gurren Lagann stuff. That's the only thing I wear ever.
Do you have a tank top that says "I am the drill that will pierce the heavens"?
Dude, I have 24 different tank tops that's Gurren Lagann, bro.
Yeah,
nice.
And that's all I wear.
I was telling Joe my favorite so far, even still. I mean, I'm only 3-4 episodes out, so the likeliness of one of these 3 or 4 episodes being my favorite is slim. Not impossible, but slim. But my favorite is that arc after Kamino, where you see how Simone is dealing with that.
Yeah,
those 3 episodes where he's just really fucking down.
And of all fucking places, a cartoon, an anime cartoon, so a foreign cartoon to me, hit on what depression and dealing with loss and
grief and recovery.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, like all it like dealt with it perfectly. Like I swear to God, the psychiatrist must have been in the background helping them write this.
No, it's just people. It's just people who've actually been through shit.
It was amazing. And then I told Joe, I was like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Like it hit me right in the feels.
Well,
like,
dude, that show hits me in the feels. Like I've seen it dozens of times. It always hits me every fucking time. Like when he, you know, like as I was saying earlier, be yourself. Like when he figured out, look, I'm not my bro. I'm not gonna be my bro. I'm gonna be me. And that's how he moves on, man.
Yeah.
And like
I'm gonna carry him on my back and in my heart.
Exactly. When he finally admits that he's gone, like he's not coming back. He's gone, but he still has it in him.
Yep.
Like, bro.
Yep. And then he did. Then he does the Giga Drill Breaker.
Yeah. But he does I think he even says something along the lines of, I'm gonna be the me that bro saw or something like that. Like he's like what you were talking about how others see you and feeding off that positivity. I think he even mentioned something like that when he finally starts coming out of that funk.
By the way, Rikki, I do have to ask because you've watched it. Do they just say bro when they're referring to each other?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, because that's the weird thing. That's a translation thing. It always sounds weird when they say bro. I'm so used to Aniki.
Yeah,
which basically means bro, anyways. But like
it's like little brother. It's like little brother.
Yeah, it's more close, like more intimate version of bro.
Yeah, it's just for some reason when they say bro,
it's like a blood brother,
bro, like it just sounds funny. I don't know why, just in that translation part. But what was I gonna say? Another thing that's really close when you deal with loss and depression was in Naruto Shippuden when Naruto gets back to the village and finds out Jiraiya died. And get that whole fucking episode where he's basically silent, like through the whole fucking episode, walking alone, and then he's
Naruto deals with loss a lot and does it well. Like when fucking what's his face when Shikamaru's sensei died.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, like, Asuma. Dude, when Asuma was killed.
It makes me so mad when they took the cigarette out of like the American version. I'm like, dude, the whole fucking point. Ugh.
Is that he smokes? That's a whole important thing. That's why the lighter is important. If you just see him flicking a lighter for no reason, it's not important.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was another good one. That whole show just deals with
Naruto was amazing until like the last arc, and then I got real mad and fucking butthurt, and I shit on Naruto nonstop from that point on. Wasted 10 years of my life.
The tail end of the
Same with Bleach.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You and I've talked about Bleach before. Though it's coming back. It's coming back, and it's gonna.
Yeah, Naruto's still going. Fucking
Boruto, even though they do treat it completely separate.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, I will say there's some cool shit that's happened in Boruto, but they do not bother. They're not moving on like they should. I guess they will be now after some events are happening. But like they've let Naruto, Sasuke, and the old characters carry a lot. You know. Even though it should be focused on the new characters, but I mean,
that's
not...
one was Dragon Ball Z. Like, it's hard to move on, right? Because Gohan was supposed to take over as a new lead, but like people couldn't let Goku go, so like they kept bringing back Goku, and then Gohan never took off on his own.
Yep, and then he got nerfed real fucking hard at Resurrection F, and then they had to embarrass the fuck out of him in both the movie and the series.
Yep.
Oh, that was something I forgot.
I was telling Shoki and Mike outside for my anime, outside of this Gurren Lagann run. Yeah, I had Ninja Scroll, which I probably watched 100 times because I love that
great
movie.
Classic. Yep.
I fell asleep watching.
I tried to watch Return of Jubei, didn't like it as much.
No, it's really different. I didn't enjoy it either.
Watch Grave of the Fireflies.
Evangelion Neo Genesis. I watched all that.
Amazing. That's classic.
And then Records of the Lodos War.
Oh, nice. That's a D&D. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I actually got, and I meant to ask him too, and I keep forgetting to ask him. I got the Blu-ray set for Jaina to watch, and I told Bobby, I was like, I don't remember if there's nudity in this one because it's been a long time since I've watched it. And he's like, well, I'll go over it. I'll watch through it, make sure it's good before I hand it off.
There's no sexual things in there, at least. There's like a scene where Deetlit, I think, might have been naked, but like it's real brief and it's not important.
Well, that's like in Gurren Lagann says there's nudity, but there's not.
Yeah, I'm pissed about that.
It's itchy. It's very fan servicey.
Well, I mean, it's not even like real nudity.
I'm still pissed at Netflix for saying nudity. Yoko. Oh man, how did I put it? Like, I was like, the Black sisters, they could get it.
Yes,
Yoko, I'd go in looking like me and come out looking like you, Joe. I would not stop until I was.
Yoko's wonderful, bro. I have maybe like 30 figures of Yoko, bro, in my collection.
Oh my.
I just have to remember she's supposed to be 14.
That's what my motherfucker said.
He
said she's 14. I'm like, motherfucker, she ain't nothing. She's a cartoon and she's fucking hot.
Well, let's see. When did it come out?
It's a time jump when she's a teacher. Well, she's definitely in her 20s.
Oh,
so
when they do the time skip and she's teaching on that little island or whatever. Yeah,
she's even hotter.
She's hot librarian at that point.
Like the young Yoko. I'm like, she's cute. You know, she's kind of hot.
So
the older Yoko, I'm like, she looks like she'd let me spit in her mouth. Like she's hot.
Yeah, with the star, the space costume, fucking space costume, bro. Please, please.
Yes.
Dude, they definitely were on. They were on.
Can't see what the fuck now, bro.
Dude, they went a very different direction when they went into their space costumes. Let's be honest here. Especially like,
anything goes, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to ask you, Joe. We brought this up when we were talking to Rikki about it before he started watching the show. And we're avoiding spoilers, but you've seen the movie versions of Gurren Lagann, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
I mean,
I prefer the very final confrontation in the movie over the series.
I don't. I don't.
You don't?
I prefer the original series. I like the movies for the some of the extended cuts and some of the new scenes, like some of the Lord Jingo stuff.
Like it's a new scene that I'm trying not to spoil, unless we're doing mutes for a second. But
but I prefer the original ending. Okay. I prefer the original final confrontation.
I was trying to remember, and I thought it was Gurren Lagann. Obviously, it's not because you're here saying it wasn't. But I remember one of them you said that it's a show and then there's movies too, and the best thing to do was watch the show up to like the last 3 episodes.
That was Evangelion he was talking about.
That's Evangelion, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't watch the show's ending of Evangelion, watch the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas it's different. Like you can miss the movies if you want. But,
I
like the fact that everyone has their own mech in the movie. I like the ladies' mechs, Nia's mech and fucking Yoko's mechs are awesome.
Yeah,
but I do prefer the original ending. It's more meaningful to me.
Have you seen the combiner coming out with all their mechs?
Yes, it's crazy.
I need somebody to buy that and let me review it because I don't want to purchase it, but I want to look at it.
It's not that expensive, I don't think. I saw it wasn't crazy expensive anyway for Gurren Lagann product.
To be fair,
you don't want to
purchase it.
Are you even a Gurren Lagann fan? I mean,
I can be a fan without wanting to own everything.
That's not true.
Yes,
I'll
it
show
is.
you my whole
It's
collection
hard.
of sound waves.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn that. I've been learning that over the years. I don't have to have every fucking thing, but it's
Exactly.
hard. It's
Yeah.
fucking hard because I want every fucking thing. Is a problem.
I already have to buy all the fucking Thundercat mutant statues at the end of the year, so
Bro,
that's where all my money's
please.
going. Dude,
Ooh,
you know.
Yeah,
those
those
are perfect.
You know.
Iron Studio ones.
Yes.
Yeah, they're fucking great.
Those
Iron
things are
Studio is killing it,
gorgeous.
man. Iron Studio is really fucking just killing the game.
They've got everybody's license, and they're doing a damn
And
good
they're doing
job
an
on
amazing
everything.
job. They're doing an amazing job with everything.
Dude,
like making silly things like epic. That's hard.
Exactly. And if I wish now I had never started on the Power Rangers Lightning Collection stuff, because I would have bought the fucking statues from Iron Studios instead.
Yeah.
Like, just because I
the
like
one
that
with,
diorama set.
Yeah, that's the
the
only time I
command
record stuff.
I like the Ninja Turtle, the like kind of comic booky Ninja Turtle set that's coming. It looks really fucking awesome too, but it's just like, goddamn, everything is like $180, $190, even though it's only 4 of them. I'm just like, I have too many
Look,
other
man,
things I have to buy.
Don't look at the price. Look at the piece, and if it's something that you want, then price is not an object. You'll make it happen.
Well, the other part is also display. So I'm purchasing for a fixed display. So it's almost like Bobby. Bobby's only got so much room left, so he can only buy so many more pieces to fill said space. And so right now, I still haven't even put all of my shit on shelves yet. And some things I have no clue exactly where I'm going to have them displayed. I don't even have any artwork on the walls or anything. So I've got a lot of shit that I can do still in the future. I don't have any of my Gunpla on display, nothing. So I have to figure out, like, I have the exact spot for the Thundercat stuff. That's not a problem. And I'm trying to get rid of the Shao Kahn statue that I bought, and I can't find anybody to buy the damn thing. So like I got a whole side of the wall here that's all Transformers, and then like my Gundam backlog, and then everything that's action figure related is going to be over there. I'm figuring out a way to build out dioramas on the wide billies without having to have huge wide singular things. I want to start splitting the shelves to actually do smaller dioramas, like for like making almost like skinny billies within the big billies.
Yeah.
So
Section them off.
yeah, section it off because I have spare shelves. I'm just going to cut them to fit and like put them vertical.
Then you just work yourself into a rotational thing. Like my grandma used to do that. With
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Like,
I'm not going to be the
summer,
storage.
fall.
I'm not storing my collection. I've done that. I'm not doing it. If there, yeah, I've done it before. I know people who do it. I know, one of my old friends who's no longer my friend, had over 3,000 Transformers. Yeah, exactly. That was the guy who he decided to. He thought his political stance was more important than our friendship.
Hold on a second, Joe. You and I are going to become such best friends. You have no idea. I'm just letting you know ahead of time because of what you just said. Because I'll show you. I'll take a screenshot and send it to you afterwards in Messenger. In one of the group messages I'm in, somebody says, they didn't like such and such company or whatever because the guy is friends with this other company or works with them or something. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this other company is, but we don't fucking like them, so fuck them. Like, I really just said the same thing. Like, I don't know who you're talking about, but we don't like them. So fuck
that's all that matters, bro.
Well, in this case, it was politics is really what it came down to. The thing that COVID brought out of everyone. Exactly.
Well, fuck them, dude. But at the end of the day, if you dislike somebody because of their political thought processes, then you never really liked them to begin with, because you shouldn't be judging other people by their opinions on shit.
Yeah, because I wasn't judging him on his opinions. He decided to judge me on mine.
Like, I like Mike, even though he's Canadian. I don't hold that against him.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Mike is Texas Canadian.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Canadian Texan. As it is,
I think that makes it worse.
Shut the fuck up. At least
how does those two things even mix? They're like opposite.
Well, no, because he lives in Alberta, which they consider the Texas of Canada.
Yeah, so Texas of Canada is nowhere near Texas of Texas, though.
I know that, but I'm saying like there's a very similar mindset between that and that.
Saying like, oh, that's the Florida of Canada, but that doesn't matter. Like, Florida's Florida. You can't beat Florida.
Yeah, don't fuck with Florida. We're our own
Texas. You can't be Texas of anything other than Texas.
Well, hold on. The Philippines is the Mexico of Asia.
That's
what I've heard from people. That's what I've heard from Filipinos.
Having grown up in Hong Kong, that's like kind of how it is.
But see, that's the funny part. I've heard that from Filipinos. It's like, it's the Mexico of Asia. I was like, okay,
that's fucked. I think it's okay if they say it. I don't think it's okay if you say it.
But no, what's really funny is that Joe agreed. He said the other things can't be these things, but this can.
I can't argue because I grew up in Hong Kong where like there's Filipino people, and then like that's like that's very reminiscent.
Yeah, it's very similar, and it's not meant as an insult technically, but it's just reality. It's reality. Reality can be unfavorable, but it doesn't mean it's insulting.
Yep.
That's true.
It's not. They didn't say it as an insult. They said it as somebody who's been through it and lived there. They're like, "Yep, it's definitely that." It's just like, okay,
it's definitely that.
Yeah, people go through like vacation there and like the food and stuff, but then like don't necessarily treat the people that well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's that same energy. Yeah,
makes sense.
I think I'm gonna start using that though, like Joe, like how you were saying, it doesn't make sense to be the Texas to Canada. I'm gonna use that, like that, I guess, simile on stuff. I'm gonna be like, Orlando is the Frederick of Florida, you know.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Baltimore.
Tallahassee's the Baltimore of Florida.
No, it'd definitely be Miami.
I guess
I've heard Bobby's stories about Baltimore. It's either Tampa or Miami. Trust me.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't live there. I can pronounce the T.
Dude, when they were having that discussion last week, I thought it was hilarious. When they were watching the show about the special police force unit and all that kind of shit. We Are the Night. Yeah, the We Are the Night show. I was like, I want to watch this to see. I want to see these accents that like doesn't necessarily portray a Baltimore accent and all that. It's like, this would be interesting.
He said it's the closest. Like the guy who plays Punisher, like actually is trying to.
Yeah, he said he's trying. So yeah, that makes sense. All right. So
we talked about Gurren Lagann.
Yes. And I tried to segue a little while ago and it didn't quite happen, but it's fine.
I can never. You have to fight me to get off the subject of Gurren Lagann, bro. I know. Talk about Gurren Lagann fucking forever.
I blame Rikki for that because he actually is the one who did it, not you.
Once I'm finally finished with it, you and I are probably gonna have I'm gonna go back and watch it again after having the new. Oh my god, look at everything that's happening. Kind of wore off. I'm gonna watch it again where I can actually get in depth into it, and I mean you're gonna talk again, Joe.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it gets just
if that's cool with you. I'm not telling you what you're gonna do, but if it's cool,
we'll have Joe back on to have that final discussion.
No, this is gonna be a private conversation. We're gonna sit around in our thongs and talk about Gurren Lagann. You are not invited, Shoki.
C-string, bro. That's the next level up.
I don't know what it is, but I'm in, dude.
Look it up. Look up a C-string, bro. I don't even know how that shit stays on, but I want one.
I don't know what that is.
Look it up.
I have no.
Everybody who's listening right now, Google C-string and then fuck up your Google history by doing that.
Safe search is on.
And an hour later, get a knock on your front door.
C-string thong. What the fuck?
Yes, you're welcome. I learned you something today.
Is that the one that just kind of tucks in your taint in like cups?
It comes on one side only. It looks like a C. Yep.
How does that stay on? It's got to have stickies, right?
We all gonna find out. We all gonna get one, and then we'll all like.
I don't know about this wee shit. I'm very hairy. Hold up with that wee shit.
So
I will say that is
Don't be scared.
That's pretty sexy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna fit in that.
Shoki, be the guy that we see you are. We see you in that C string, dude.
Wait, is that for men? Oh, hey, that's for men. It's actually got the pocket.
C strings are for men specifically.
No. I've seen I've seen the ones for women. That basically it looks like just normal lingerie in the front. Basically has the rod that goes over your asshole. But no, I'm seeing the one for men that actually has the whole pouch and everything.
The pouch. The pouch is what like holds the whole thing in place. Like I don't think ladies have enough meat down there to like hold a C string up.
Hold on. I gotta read this description. This is hold on. Rikki, hold on. This is literally we're on a crazy topic here. This is from Amazon. This is the description of this thing: men's stretch briefs thong underwear pouch gay.
In that order, those words.
That's what it says.
It sounds very foreign.
I'm gonna dude. I'm screenshotting it right now, and I'm gonna post it in the fucking main chat. Hold on.
That sounds like a translation error.
Yeah, that's definitely a.
I don't know. Bro. That was just copy ridiculous. And paste. Hold on.
Or else they're going by the true definition and wearing one of those.
No, I think those are keywords. I think those are the keywords. Hold on, I posted it.
So you go on Amazon, you type gay underwear, that's going to come up. I like how they think underwear has something to do with sexual identity.
Yeah, bro.
You see it?
Straight as fuck, and I wear it.
Do you see it in the chat?
Right?
Yeah. Either way, that's just fucking ridiculous. No, now we learned something new from Joe.
You always learn something new and degen from you, bro.
Thanks for sharing that. Now we know for
Oh, I'm definitely.
Things you can't unsee, bro.
Look,
Things you can't unlearn.
I was already going to look into getting some sheath underwear, which has the individual pockets for your junk and your nuts.
Yes.
I was actually going to get some of those and try them out. So I was already on that.
Did you differentiate from your dick to your nuts as junk and nuts?
Oh, I guess I did. I meant to say cock and balls.
See, I'm the opposite. Like when I say junk, I mean my nuts.
Yeah.
Like
no,
I'm the opposite.
I usually junk is referring to all of the below.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay.
The whole all that junk down there, bro.
Yeah,
the whole fucking pouch of things.
Yeah, sorry. I misidentified my penis.
Well, I didn't know if you just it's not a misidentified. I didn't know if maybe regionally you just
I realized I said it that way. You're right. I wouldn't have normally
separate your junk
and your balls.
Do nothing but hang there and get in the fucking way and get all wet when you sit down and take a shit.
I just want to see what it's like to have individual support.
Yeah.
Not just all clumped together and kind of just smushed off to one side.
Mashed up. Yeah.
Mashed on one side. I did have to, not long ago, I had to buy new boxers because the ones I had were just, I guess I bought the wrong style or wrong size, but everything was bunched in a completely terrible direction. I was like, waistline was right, but nothing else was right. So I went back to Target. I'm like, okay, something's got to be wrong here. And then I literally grabbed they looked similar, but they weren't the same. And I'm like, let's try these. And I put them on. I was like, fuck, this is what I was after. So
I don't like when I was super younger. Now we're going to get really weird for a second here.
Right,
when I was super younger, I'm from a military family. So it's very much whitey tighties in my family when I was a kid and boxer briefs if you were an adult. But at one point in time, like high school, I think I just started high school or maybe it was the end of middle school. You know, everybody's talking about going commando and letting it free swing and everything. And I'm like, I got to see what that's all about. But I couldn't get away with doing it. No, in my head, I wouldn't be able to get away with not having my drawers on. So what I did is I just flopped my dick over the top of the underwear inside my pants and left everything else tucked in the underwear and just went around like that for a few hours. And I was like,
hold on.
Dude, trying to get your dick you lucky it didn't fall off, bro.
So I was getting there. So I literally like after a couple hours of this, I'm like, this is starting like it was feeling weird. Like I was getting like a tingly, like
cutting off circulation.
Yes, that's exactly.
He literally had purple dick.
Yes.
I should not have
castrated myself and didn't even know it.
I should not have taken a drink of water right there.
Kids are fucking dumb. Like we were all fucking idiots. Like we thought the weirdest shit when we were kids, man.
Well, some of us thought that someone else would wipe our ass in school.
Yes. Because
first of all, the fact that whole conversation is still continuing week after week is amazing.
Yep.
Is amazing.
Pinkerton,
something you can let go, bro.
Stand with standing standers, Pinkerton. I'm with you, brother.
No.
All the way to the end.
No.
You're gonna fucking tombstone yourself one day. You're gonna be older. You're gonna get lightheaded, and you just fucking directly smash the top of your head into the fucking linoleum, and then shit in your crack, and that's how they're gonna find you.
You're gonna have a weird blood pressure drop when you bend over. You're gonna pass out and go hand in your ass, face into the floor, and that's how they're gonna find you dead.
Yep.
You're not. That's not how wiping standing up works. That's how Chris's brother wipes standing up. That is not how.
No. He's reaching under. He's reaching under.
Yeah. Down through his legs, up into his ass. That's
which
crazy.
I understand, but I don't support.
No, but like. In my house, I don't have to worry about that because we have, I lovingly refer to it in our master bathroom as the shit closet because it has like, the whole big bathroom with the double sinks and then our walk-in shower and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's literally just this little door that you open it up and it's a little tiny square with just the toilet in there. That's all it is. It's own little, call it the shit closet. So even if I fell over in there, I would only fall forward about a foot before I'd just be leaning against the wall again. So I'm good.
All right.
I'm very good. But you guys have some amazing conversations. Like, yeah,
that
amazing's the word, but yes.
No.
We have conversations.
It has started a cultural revolution in the shitting world.
Chris has literally started throwing that hashtag on different posts. I've seen it popping up on Facebook.
Well, hold on. We got to give credit where credit is due. That was from a write-in. That started the whole thing. Yeah. Well, we said it was Billings. Either it might or not be. We need Billings to start writing into this show. By the way, guys, if you do want to write into this show, you can at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com because we had to make sure we had a longer name than Nerd Rage Radio Mail.
We thought ours was ridiculous.
No, I made sure to make it ridiculous. I did it on purpose.
He tried to get me to say that first time I was ever on, and I'm like, I will never fucking say that long ass shit for
That was
nothing.
the third time you were on.
I thought it was when I was a guest. You trying to get me?
No, it wasn't when you were a guest. You were already official by then. So Rikki replaced Shaun because Shaun couldn't make the weekly.
I did not
deadlines.
replace. I am.
No. You replaced him as our normal weekly though. Like it's not like you booted him out. Shaun couldn't be a part of the show. He's still off to the side, and we're still waiting on him to actually complete his so-called side project that he can continue to be a part of the show. But apparently, he had some issues with that. I was talking to him the other
Joe,
day.
it's that Shaun that painted that hot rod for Bobby.
Oh yeah, nice.
He did the hot rod, the Prime, and the Megatron from Flame Toys for Bobby. Yep. So
great job.
Yep. Shaun's a lot of fun. And Rikki and Shaun apparently have never managed to have a conversation together other than on Facebook. So,
are you sure they're not the same person? Have you ever seen both of them in the same room at the same time?
Well, I've seen what Rikki looks like, and I've seen what Shaun looks like. I guarantee you, they're not the same person.
You've only seen what we allow.
In person though, or video only, because like filters are really good nowadays.
I mean, video only, but they also don't.
Like, you've seen those filters, man. Filters are magic, bro.
This is true.
That Reface app, I could put my head on Joe's body.
He's
deep faking himself.
I mean, you don't even need the app. You don't need the app. You could literally just put your head on Joe's body. He'll just lay there, and you can just put your head on him, and whatever you want to do.
Hey, man, don't start me with a good time.
And then somebody can pee on both of you.
Ladies only.
Sorry. Some lady can pee on y'all.
Bro. I love lady to pee on me, bro. Please. Who's voluntary?
I feel weird for anybody who somehow came into this part without hearing the early discussion.
I mean,
I'm only going to make one rule, Joe. No direct eye contact while it's happening. That's my only rule. So.
Man, like I talked about this before. It's only gay if you're gay. Look. Listen,
I actually kind of agree with this point.
You can fuck another dude in the ass, but you're thinking about a woman in order to get off. It's still not gay, bro. I'm telling you. If you're not enjoying it as a dude having sex with another dude, if you have to like trick yourself into thinking about a lady, it's still not gay.
Gotcha.
It's only gay if you're gay.
If you're sexually aroused by the thought of being with another man.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yep. I mean, I love a good pegging, and that doesn't make me gay, because I only love a good pegging from a hot lady.
Right.
Yes, but it's not a penis, technically.
Right, but if you're getting fucked in the ass by a dude and you're pretending it's a lady with a dildo, it's still not gay.
I feel like it's a gray area. I think there's some aspects of make it a gray area.
I think we live in a gray area. Everybody thinks it's black and white, but it's really gray.
There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray. There is a big spectrum with this, I believe. When something is penetrating an orifice.
Very interesting conversations, man.
Yes.
I'm very open, bro.
Yes, we know.
Yes.
That's one reason why I wanted to have you on for sure, because I know you'll talk about anything. And I also know that somehow it's just going to go in any random fucking direction.
Buttholes. Like, if you let me talk long enough, it will always end up somewhere around the butthole.
I mean, we're at the hour mark, and here we are.
Yep.
So you have to get at least an hour in, and then the buttholes start being talked about.
Yep.
I mean, you get piss talk really early. You get the piss talk on early though. That's your entryway, and it always inevitably leads to butthole.
Yep. The chocolate starfish is our mascot, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I was. Damn it. Okay, so I'm gonna let this out a little bit. So, not so to speak. I got it. So I was actually gonna do something for you guys because people started labeling y'all nerd ragers.
Oh god!
So
they do say a lot of things about us that I'm not sure if I agree with, but yes.
Okay, that's true. But like just the fact that the nerd ragers, and then a lot of people were missing nerd rangers. But I thought I was like, I want to take some just run of the mill plain Power Rangers figures and make nerd rangers versions of y'all.
Told them someone like either Fong or somebody needed to do fan art because
I thought about fan art as well.
It was Power Rangers. I'm like, well, we have a dolphin, a jackal, and the skull guy. Like that's Power Rangers.
So exactly, I was thinking about it too, but I was.
You can have 3-man Zord. We have what's Dino Riders? They have a 3-man Zord.
Dino Charge or Dino Thunder, one of those.
One of them.
One of the dinos. But I was definitely going to have you as the Chocolate Starfish Ranger.
Yes.
That was going to be your emblem. It was going to be your emblem. You were going to be the brown dolphin with the chocolate starfish emblem.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, I didn't know if I was going to have Pinkerton be the jackal or not, but like it would be. I know it fits. but I don't know how I was gonna do it with that. But
Otherwise, he's just a box, and like that's boring.
well, I mean, no, because he's a shit box.
Yes, it's shit box.
He's built like a brick shit house that's big enough for standing.
That's what they say, the crash box thing. Just how a Zord shaped like an open cardboard box.
Dude, like, but that's the easiest way to transform shit, right? That's why that train fucking combiner is like solid because it's just a fucking rectangle.
No. For Chris, his transformation sequence would be a laser cutting his suit out of the thing, and then it just goes on top of him.
Oh Jesus!
So he's the cardboard jackal.
This is escalating.
No, foam jackal. He's the foam jackal. There we go. Either way, awesome. That would be funny. But yeah, no, I literally came with that idea. I was like, yeah, Joe would 100% have the chocolate starfish as his emblem on his fucking uniform.
Oh, and then you could have him fighting like the big chocolate starfish, kind of like the.
Dude, I'll get inside of it, bro.
But he would be penetrating.
I will be fucking fisting the shit out of that asshole, bro. I mean, that starfish.
Yeah, exactly. I just figured it would be a lot like Abba Ranger, or is it? No, it's not Abba Ranger. Which was the meme series where they had the hair molded and all that shit.
That's a lot of
meme
series.
No, this one was like a specific it was meant to be a Sentai meme series. I think it was Abba Ranger. I could be wrong, but that's not too official. It wasn't Aka Ranger.
I'm picturing him fighting the big starfish from
it was Abba. I think. Hold on.
Squad.
Is this it? No, that was definitely wrong. That was actually the. Oddly enough, that was Dino Thunder, the one we were talking about.
Yep.
Oddly enough. No, I'll figure it out. Either way, no, there was one where it was super meme style and everything about it was ridiculous. Like they had the anime hair molded into their helmets. It was fucking absurd.
Yep, I remember it. I don't remember what it's
but
called.
It was meant to be a parody on purpose. All right, so let's steer the conversation back. I don't know how much more time Joe's got. Do you have a time limit, Joe?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, I didn't know because you originally said a couple hours, so I didn't know if you meant literally a couple hours or whatever. So let's steer back. Let's just see. Here's our ship. We're gonna steer right back into the craziness of Hollywood people and their fucked up relationships. So we saw the whole mess with Jada and Will Smith after the Oscars, and how apparently that train wreck has continued on after the fact.
I mean, there was a train wreck before that.
Yes, that's true. But because I watched a couple things on it today just to see what was up because I heard some rumors about them possibly actually going for divorce, and then there's like, no, we're in therapy.
Fucked up.
Yeah, and then there's a whole thing where they said like, no, I'm done. Where Jada said, no, I'm done. Blah 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 blah. Either way, the whole point, and you guys have talked about this on Nerd Rage a bit too, and we talked about it about how basically like they're both pretty fucked up people.
Yeah.
And in a way,
for different reasons.
Yeah, for very different reasons. And I think you guys definitely talked about this, that, like Jada basically once Tupac was killed, like she said, Tupac was the love of her life. And like anybody else basically is always going to play second fiddle. So
she still says that. That was in an interview just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so she's been married and had kids with Will Smith and still says this.
Yeah. So he has to live with the reality that she settled for him and he settled for somebody who settled for him. Yeah. So like, and he is really fucked up after all this. Like, even if he had his own part to play in their open marriage, and apparently like a lot of people don't know that he was, slinging it a little bit too. It wasn't just her, but she was the only one who did it publicly and like almost publicly embarrassed him. Yeah, like to that whole red table discussion, all that horse shit where they laid it all out there, and then he got really, emotional, and she was just like a cold fucking robot. Like, I get it. If you lost somebody who meant something to you, like Tupac did to her, I get it. But like all these years later, to fucking treat your man of basically a 25-year fucking marriage that way publicly, it's trash.
It's trash. It's fucking like classless. It's just like, I don't know. And if you fucking feel that way, I don't know, man. If you fucking feel that way, then you should just fucking be single.
Yeah,
if you never get over somebody, and I understand that it's not wrong to not get over somebody, right? But you shouldn't drag somebody else into your bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I had 100%. A friend of mine. Her and her, I think they were married. It might have been her fiance. They had a couple kids together, and then he died. They were both young, like in their 20s, and early 20s, and he died very tragically in a car accident while she was still pregnant with their youngest child. and she has never ever tried to even date or remarry because she constantly talks about him. And I asked her one time about that. I was like, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're raising these two boys by yourself. You're still young. You're still pretty. Like, this is years ago. I was like, why wouldn't you just try to find somebody to be with, have a partner, and to be there for you and the kids? And she said almost exactly what Joe just said. She's like, they would never outlive Angelo. Like, they couldn't live up to him and who he was in my heart and in my mind, and that's not fair to them.
Yeah, it's not.
So
that's smart of her.
But well, I was gonna say I've been in a similar situation too with my ex before Miss Shoki. Same, very very similar situation. So she had been through a few relationships. Her first two kids were with her. They never got married, but fairly long time boyfriend where she used to live in Ohio. She gave up both of those kids for adoption, one to the actual family, and then the other, when she arrived in Texas, she actually gave up her son completely to adoption and had never had him in her life. And so bouncing around through shitty relationships after that, she did get remarried to a guy who already had an ex, who already had kids, and they had their daughter together, and then he died of brain cancer.
Holy shit.
After only a few years, like the little girl Tara only got to experience him like briefly, like maybe I think she was 2 or 3 when he died, something like that, real early, like barely any memory of him whatsoever. And we were together for just barely over 3 years, and Tara was in her she was 8, I believe it was, when we got together, maybe 8 or 9. And her mom literally all the fucking time talked about him. But the thing is, half the time she talked about him was how shitty their actual relationship was. She talked about how good a dad he was to the kids he already had and stuff like that, but how their marriage itself sucked ass. Right. But then she always held him on a pedestal because he died. Like, it's like, because he died.
It's a thing. People who died that gets held to higher standards is a pretty cultural thing that we do. We do that with celebrities and
you only talk about their good
politicians. Yeah. And I get it that, like, and also after that she had a long string of shitty fucking boyfriends or fiancés or whatever who also never wanted to be her dad. They always were more interested in getting their dick wet or whatever they could get out of it instead of actually trying to be a father to the child, where that was where I was different when we were together. And it was the thing that she always held against me. Like, I came from a stable family. I came from a really big and very stable family. She came from a very fucked up, broken background, especially sexual abuse from her father. No steady boyfriends except for the one that got her pregnant twice, and then just rampant drug use and all this kind of shit. Dead husband, shitty relationship after shitty relationship. Now stuck having to live with her mother, just to get by, and now trying to raise a daughter alone. But then when somebody who's had a stable life tries to come in, she doesn't know how to handle it and ends up pushing me away and basically holding me to a standard that she actually doesn't have. And in a way, always blocking me from trying to be the dad that I know how to be, in a way, not trying to, I sucked at sometimes, not going to lie. There's certain situations, especially when you're not used to little girls, but
like, you tried though. You were trying. I tried. You're actively trying to, where I feel like a lot of people in relationship with single parents aren't necessarily.
Yeah. They're not interested in the kid. They're only interested in the spouse, so to speak.
Yeah, and then basically like settling to put up with the kid.
Yeah, and in that same manner, it definitely put a wedge between us as a couple, but then also that same wedge divided me and the kid. And when I ended up having a babysitter in the afternoons once everybody else was going to work, our relationship got to grow a little bit more because we got to spend more time together, and playing video games, going shopping, whatever we had to do. Cooking something, actually got to bond and be kind of a stepdad, stepdaughter situation, instead of, well, everyone in the room is sitting here trying to keep us apart because there's trying to live up to a standard that no one has, judging me on something I haven't done compared to what somebody else did do. And that's what's really
like
fucked up.
Yeah. And also like comparing well, not even a stepdad, but like a possible like
Exactly.
male role model to an actual biological father is not like you shouldn't even try to make the comparison.
Yeah. Especially in the one thing that, I mean, I get the part that does suck is she never really got to experience her dad.
Yeah.
That part does suck. I completely understand that. But in that case, she also has never really had a dad, like at all, her whole life.
Yeah.
And nobody was volunteering to do the job. And she's only grown up with broken women and other broken people who were around,
Yeah.
And I don't fault anyone for being that broken. I do fault them for what they choose to do after they're broken. Because sometimes it's a decision, and then sometimes it's the shit you can't avoid because you are, We've all been through some shit, right?
You can't really, but even saying that you would judge them based on their choices is kind of a hard stance to take, because when people are broken, people don't get how when we use that term so willy-nilly that this person is broken, or they had a really fucked up relationship, so it made them broken. That term is a lot more hardcore than people understand. When you say somebody is broken, like at an emotional and psychological level, that can mean a lot. That doesn't mean just something as simple as, oh, well, they just get sad a lot. That means these people can totally start acting.
They're not functional. They're not really functional people.
Exactly. That's and the thing is like this was generational within this family because it started with her mom and my ex's mom and dad. Like I said, the sexual abuse that was already happening on that point, he had 3 daughters, he raped all of them. And the mom knew about it, but because she was already done with the dad and was focusing on her own career and going back to school and making sure she could fucking escape and support herself, just let it go on. So we're talking about multi-generational fucking fucked upness. And then the fact that
and then having to live with her, you actually having to live with that.
And then going back to live with this woman who stood idly by. The best thing she actually eventually did was leave him, but the girls didn't go with her. You can't
unring the bell of what you had done.
Exactly.
Like that's a very selfish. Like I can't speak to the whole sexual molestation part of it, but I know in my family, my grandfather was very physically abusive of my grandmother. Like he's old school. He's the old school stereotypical military. He was a Marine Corps DI during Korean conflict and stuff. And he was a drunk. He became an alcoholic, and he would literally put hands on my grandmother. I remember up until I was about 12, 13 years old, having to go in and comfort my mother because my mom would have night terrors of what she remembered from when she was a child. The one she kept going back to is she remembered when she was about 6 or 7, being woke up in the middle of the night with my grandmother like laying across her on her bed, just telling her constantly, just be quiet, stay asleep, don't let them know you're awake, while my grandfather was beating the fuck out of her.
God damn.
And my you ever meet me in person, I'm a tall drink of water, man. Pinkerton's only got me by like an inch or two. Like and my
you like to keep bringing up how tall you are, Rikki.
Well, I'm just saying that because
as a short person, I'm starting to take offense.
Well, you can
the height privilege.
Yeah, fucking height privilege, motherfucker.
I'll just keep talking over your head, and you don't worry about it.
Stand with standing standers.
That's it.
Fucking standing ass tall people.
The reason why I bring it up is because my grandmother was a very small lady. Like
just lean like everyone else. Just lean like everyone else.
I was well. Then put your own shit in the top part of the pantry by yourself, just like everybody else.
I do because I live with a shorter person than me.
And you have a step ladder. Got it.
We do.
But my grandmother is very short.
Anyways, by the time I
was like 11, I was taller than my grandma. She was like 5'1", 5'2". And my grandfather, all the males in my family from that side, like literally, as tall as I am, I'm the second shortest guy in my family. My grandfather was, if he was still alive, he would have been the second shortest. He was like 6'1", 6'2". So here you got a 6'2" guy and a 5'1" woman, and he was military trained, and he put his hands like very violently. I put my grandmother in the hospital a couple times.
Damn.
And I know that having happened, and now mind you, I hear all this secondhand because my grandmother left them. She took the kids and she left them. It was my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. And she left him, and he went into AA, and he cleaned himself up, and he asked her to come back, and they tried to work on their marriage. Well, then he started drinking again. And he used to have my grandmother. I was an adult before my grandmother talked to me about it, but she told me about he had a coffee can that he kept his drinking money in. And he went in there one time to get his coffee can to go out drinking, and my grandmother had hid it, so he couldn't go out drinking.
Fuck.
So they lived in New York City at the time, and they were on like in a 4th-story apartment. Well, he grabbed my uncle, who was young, probably like 2 or 3, by his throat and hung him out the window and threatened to drop him if she didn't give him back his coffee can. Like, he was very serious about his issues. And the reason why I bring that up is at my level. Now, mind you, I didn't know that grandfather. By time I was 8 or 9, because after he did that to my uncle, my grandmother left him, divorced him for the 2nd time, moved to Florida with the kids, never looked back. Well, he ended up getting himself sober. He got remarried, had 3 more kids with his new wife, my grandma Nancy. And all this comes to head when I'm like 8, 9 years old, because we found out about him he had moved down here to Florida with his new wife and kids. And we ended up like reconnecting, and my mom and my aunt and uncle all worked out their demons with him. And my grandmother did eventually too work out their demons with him. But I was a child, so I didn't get none of that. All I got was my mom's like, hey, this is your grandfather. This is his wife, your grandma Nancy. When you're off from school breaks and stuff, if you want to, you can come spend time with them. And so I got to know my pops at a different level. I got the fun pops, the one that would let me go to the movies, and I would come up and he had an NES, and I'd play, Jack Nicholson golf on his NES. I remember playing that shit for hours when I was a kid, because that was one of the few games he had, because he only liked the sports games. And I only knew the fun pops. I didn't hear about the other part of it till much later, because even though he had sobered up the last 20 years of his life, he had done too much damage. He ended up getting liver cancer, and it spread throughout his body, and he passed away when I was like 12. And then I started hearing the stories and finding out what had happened and all that kind of stuff. And I bring this up because you're talking about multi-generational and how it fucks somebody up. To this day, if I see a man raise his voice a little too loud to a woman, you can physically see me react to it. And if I ever see a man put his hands on a woman, I'm on it. I'm on it like stink on shit. One of my really good friends that I had for years, I was the godfather of him and his wife's son. He got into it with his wife, and he had her up against the wall by her throat. Like, it happened really quick. It went from yelling and arguing to that. And like, I froze for a split second, and then my godson Blake grabbed her on her leg, because he was probably about 2.5. He was a toddler, and he didn't know what was going on. He just grabbed his mom by the leg. Well, he started shaking her by her throat, and I just saw the baby moving, and I saw her going red, and then I went red. And the next thing I know, we're on our way to the police station, because I guess I fucked him up bad. He ended up going to the hospital. I cracked 3 of his ribs, punctured a lung. Like, I fucked him up. And his parents were trying to put me in jail. They wanted me to go away for fucking assault and attempted murder, and I had to pay for his doctor bills and this, that, and another damn thing. What I ended up getting was a simple assault charge. And me and him, not even a month later, we were hanging out again. And I said to him, I was like, because I was still friends with his wife and stuff, and trying to help her get her stuff packed. She was moving. I was helping her move back to her parents' house and stuff. And he had come around again, and they were talking, and he took me to the side, and he told me, he's like, thank you. I'm like, what for? He's like, because you defended Michelle. You protected her from somebody hurting her. And I was like, dude, I don't know if you still want to talk to me right now, because I'm still not quite over that, but I'm going to be respectful that we're at her parents' house, and I'm going to just tell you, okay, cool, dude, but go on about your business. Don't breathe too hard around me. And he was like, no, man, I knew better, because he had heard the story about my grandfather and the family I grew up in. because we were really good friends. We talked about everything. And he's like, I knew better. I never should have, and I definitely never should have in front of you. And it took a while, but we ended up being friends again and hanging out and stuff, and it never went back that other direction. But what happened to my grandmother and my grandfather in the 50s and 60s affected me in the 2000s. And I was never around for any of that stuff. So for these people that have it directly happen to them, and they're the ones living through it, I can't imagine the turmoil and how fucked up it gets for them.
It's like a fucking daily trauma. Like you can't even get away. Like her living with the source of the problem day in and day out, that you can't even fucking get well. You don't have an opportunity to get well.
Yeah.
And can you imagine having to look your mom in the face, the lady who stood there and just let it happen?
Yeah, and live there, bro.
Yeah. I have no idea, because I know how much that hurts me, and how, like, I can talk about it now like it's a normal thing, but it took me a long time, because even just talking about that situation with me used to piss me off to the point I'd feel my blood pumping again. And that, again, I'm twice removed from it. You're talking about somebody who was directly in it, the person you're talking about. And I cannot fucking imagine. And the way people say broken, they're like, people, they misuse terms, or they not misuse, maybe they overuse it so much nowadays. Like, somebody told me, they're like, I had PTSD because a dog barked at me mad, and I flipped the fuck out. I'm like, don't fucking ever say that. Say you're scared of dogs, fine, but don't say PTSD. Again, military family. I had one of my grandfather's brothers killed himself because of PTSD post Korean War and all that. Like, don't tell me that what my great uncle went through is the same thing as you being barked at by a dog while you're on your jog around the neighborhood. It's not the fucking same.
Yeah, we
use overuse or misuse terms so much.
They're using major terms in a colloquial manner to something that's so fucking minor.
Yes, broken does not correctly. Broken would be me in the story I just told. I'm the broken person in that story. Yeah. My grandmother, my mom, my aunt, my uncle, those people were devastated. They were destroyed by what happened there. That is two very different levels of things.
Yeah.
And people just, it's just something, you'd brought it up, you'd said the terms, and that's just something that's always bothered me, is the uses of terms and how people use them. And then other people don't understand what that means. Because
that's how the words lose meaning. Like when you overuse it, or when you use it to describe the wrong thing, then it loses meaning. And
yes.
Well, there's literally in the same vein. You know, we're also we were talking about variants and spectrums. In that same spectrum of broken and devastated and destroyed, there's lesser parts where it's just damaged, where like I would say that, at least in the situation I was talking about, Tara is the damaged person, because she's living with the people who are fucking between broken and devastated, you know. So like her mom, I would say, would probably be the person who's broken in that situation, because she couldn't even face what was happening and just focused on her own shit and checked the fuck out. Whereas I don't want to name my ex, obviously, but you know, she and her sisters were the real broken ones, literally going through it. No, you know what I mean. So, and that's where, as a normal-ish person, I mean, I've had some issues in my life. You know, I was raped as a small child. But I don't consider that to be the thing that like set me down a path of being permanently damaged, because I mean, I was so young, I had no concept of what was going on. You know, even when I had to explain it to my parents and what I assume was some type of investigator, or I don't know who exactly I was. I don't know the level of people. And I think there was a court case and everything else like that I was not involved in. But I had to give a quote unquote statement at some point. And, you know, you're asking a fucking 3-year-old, you know, to explain what happened to them. So, but like, I can think back on it and all these kind of things. And I think the only, you know, not to make light of it, the only thing that potentially is remotely lasting from that is the idea that I prefer women to be on top. That might be the only weird thing that I would consider remotely, like, I'm not even damaged, I'm just dented, you know. It's just kind of, you know, I'm just a dented can with a scratched label, you know, in the aspect
I don't need to laugh, but that's funny phrasing.
Yes. So, I mean, but think about it, in the spectrum of fucking completely devastated mentally I'm on the other end of just being a barely dented can with a scratch label, or
Yeah.
So
I think when I think of like the difference between devastated, broken, and now how you're saying dented,
mhm.
how you describe the mother being broken, the daughter being devastated, and
Granddaughter
now
being,
her daughter being damaged
yeah,
by it. I think that's an important difference. Is when you're devastated, you're shook to the core, to the foundation. It's to put it like in terms that we know here in Florida.
yeah.
If a sinkhole opens over here by my house, you no longer, even if you fill that sinkhole in, you never build a house by that again because
Fuck no.
it's a weak spot that's going to collapse again.
Yeah.
And that's the devastated person. That's her. Her foundation is washed out by what happened with her as a child,
Do not,
and that's going to create constant damage to the daughter.
dude, think about it this way, to go just, I mean, this wasn't exactly, I mean, we'll still continue on, but like it goes so far that she had an underlying fear to let any men properly near her daughter out of fear that anyone and everyone would try to rape her.
That's to me in this day and age that I think that shit with my kids. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
no, but that's the difference between.
She's taking them to a summer camp and dropping them off. I'm like, where? Who the fuck's gonna be there? Who are
Yeah.
these people?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
And
Do you know them? Like, have you ate dinner in their house? Like, do you trust them with my kid's life? Because if anything happens to them because of your choices, I'm gonna fuck you up,
Yeah.
your baby daddy up, and all them motherfuckers up. Everybody's getting fucked up to the nth
Yeah.
degree if anything happens to one of my kids.
But-
and she's like, dude, you need to calm down. Like, it's a church-based thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Have you ever heard of a pedophile priest? What the fuck does them being in a church have anything to do with my kids being safe there? Get the fuck out of here. That is one of the worst places for you to tell me that an organized religious place is where my kids are safe. That's where they hide at because people think there's nothing wrong with them. And it puts them in a point of authority and openness and curiosity to a child's point of view that it makes it the perfect hunting ground for them. Why don't you fucking tell me where the fuck's this place at? I've literally like drove over there and like sat outside. I had a whole pack of Newport. And I just fucking sat out there. Kids were out in the playgrounds. I spotted my kids. I watched. I mean, if a cop drove by, I probably would have been questioned. They'd be like, "What the fuck?"
At that point, you look like the guy they should be worried about.
Oh no, because I wasn't ducked down and hiding. I was standing, leaning on the side of my truck, fucking watching. I was.
I
right
know
out
that's
the
why you sound like the person you'd be concerned about.
If they had stopped and talked to me, I'd have been like, here's my ID. Them's my kids. You can go ask them. I'm watching that motherfucker there and that motherfucker right there.
You're also.
I don't know them, and they're near my kids.
You're also talking about the difference between strangers and literally the person you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about like even to the point when we broke after 3 fucking years, I think in the back of her head, she still expected me to at some point, especially post puberty or something like that, to want to fuck her daughter. And like you said to me eventually, hold on, let me finish. She even said this to my face. And she's like, okay, well, what are you going to do when she's 16 and she's got her little friends over here wearing their tank tops and shit like that? I'm like, I'm probably going to be in the other fucking room, not dealing with it at all.
Toys like a proper adult.
Exactly. I was like, and mind you, I wasn't remotely into collecting and anything like this. Like everything that you guys know of me now as a collector and as the SHOKY persona and stuff like that publicly anyways, is all post being with her because she also really didn't like other than like watching nerdy stuff and movies like that. That's about the extent of what I was allowed to be. Like she kept me very compressed, especially with my personality. Now we had a shared hobby with craft beer and stuff like that, and we built a whole community and friends around all
hobby. That's a stepping stone to alcoholism.
Well, the difference is like drinking to get drunk versus drinking to enjoy what you're drinking. It's the same thing between tasting food and fucking gouging or gorging yourself every fucking time you sit down at a diner. But either way,
drinking beer that tastes like black licorice. You can't be doing that for fun.
Actually, I really fucking enjoyed the ones that taste exactly like that. But the point is that she kept my personality fucking very much compressed and chopped off.
What she wanted.
Because I wasn't exactly what she wanted, and she was trying to mold me into whatever, and given her history with men and everything else like that, she had never been with anybody like me, whatever that means, and then like, if what's so funny is that Miss Shoki in the other room there, for the longest time, she was so scared that my ex would just pop up and try to snag me back. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like, she wouldn't put up with anything I fucking do now. Are you kidding me? It's like, she'd be like, well, you can't have any of these figures. You can't have these stupid fucking toys in here. I'd be like, bitch, you can fucking get on walking, and no pussy fucking worth giving up what's me anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. You found yourself.
I found myself after I stopped letting someone else take it away from me.
You get to enjoy it.
So,
but you got to think, you brought up a minute ago about how she had a hard time being cool, even having a boyfriend around her kids.
Yeah.
In her mind, that's not that big of a stretch. Her father did it.
I get that. No. So I understood the reasoning. I'm not an idiot. I was like, completely understood the reasoning, but the whole point was, I even flat out told her repeatedly, it's like, well, considering I was raped as a kid, I don't think I'm going to be interested in doing the same. So
then, like, if she really felt that way, then she shouldn't be in a relationship. Period.
Just stay single.
She should just stay single.
And here's the fucked up part.
What Joe was saying at the very beginning of all this was
exactly. If you're really broken, you're broken, and just fucking stay single.
Yeah, especially if
don't bring somebody else into your world of shit.
Yeah, and I flat out told her,
fix yourself, or you stay happy being by yourself.
Exactly. Yep. And when you're burying yourself in alcoholism or drug use or something like that, just to not deal with your problems or face anything, then it's really going to make things worse. And that's why these toxic relationships, whether it's normal-ish people like us or these stupid Hollywood celebrities that are fucking destroying their lives, and then all of a sudden becomes public,
Let's talk about now that you're saying that, let's segue into that Johnny Depp shit in the bed lady.
That was the segue.
I know.
So, I love how you I do a seamless segue and you fucking decide to point it out.
No.
You're like, that's a segue. It's like, yes, it is.
You know I do it on purpose at this point, right?
Yeah, I know, it's annoying. So professional potting. Professional potting there.
I'm here to
potting. I don't even know what that is, and I've been potting for like fucking 6 years, bro.
I know. So I'm just fucking with it. That's why I said you're not really professional at it. Or what is it? You have to have like 10,000 hours into something to be considered professional. I mean, how many fucking hours of nerd rage are there? I'm pretty sure at this point.
1,000, at least 1,000.
I don't know. Ricky's heard them all. Yeah, Rikki, how many hours are there?
Too many.
Okay, there we go.
If it's like 3 hours at like 300 episodes, that's a fucking 1,000 hours, bro.
Exactly. So you guys aren't quite there yet.
And then you're not even counting all the
bonus shit.
Or the hours that are cut or anything else like that.
Yeah.
All the time Bobby doxes somebody.
Episodes are like 5 hours long. Like, there's a lot.
Okay, so
but I want to make a meme. Hold on real quick. I want to make a meme. The Dotson and Nedry meme, like when they're in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm gonna have Dotson, and it's gonna say, that was supposed to be a smooth transitional segue, and I'm gonna have Nedry going, segue. We got a segue here. Nobody cares.
Except here's the fun part: I can edit all of that out.
I'm going to type it into the comments.
It's fine. You'd be like, see that segue that he did there that was perfect? That wasn't perfect. I fucked it up on purpose. And they're going to be like, why? I also just realized I've been staring into the super bright light, even though my camera's been fucking turned off. So I'm sitting there just blinding myself for the last 2 hours, even though the camera's fucking turned off. Okay.
So he just came to the self-realization that he's a dumbass.
Well, no, it's like, no, now I just know that forever and for the next however many hours, I'm going to be seeing a ring when I close my eyes. And it's not the kind where she comes out of the TV to fucking kill me after 7 days. Anyways, so...
Hey, Ringu, by the way, Ringu is a better version of that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ringu, but I need to. But I will say that the original Ring fucking it hit me at the wrong. It hit the wrong part of my life because like I don't watch a lot of horror because it tends to stick with me and with my overactive imagination. Sometimes those dreams come a little too fucking true. And if you listen to this podcast long enough, you know that I sometimes have a hard time knowing whether or not my dreams are actual memories or not. So that's So actually, Joe, if you go all the way back to our first episode, our opening conversation is about having false memories implanted due to a dream.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them as much, but I do have very vivid memory of dreams. But also, that's how you know, like, memories are fucky. Like, people shouldn't stand too hard on the memories. Like, I remember this. I swear to God, I remember this. I'm like, yeah, memory are malleable. Like they're not fucking a concrete thing that doesn't change.
Yeah. Well, that is very true. But have you ever assumed you had something that you never had because you had a dream so real about it? Like I couldn't find my motorcycle, but I've never owned one.
I was gonna say that you were talking about the motorcycle in that episode.
Yeah, I woke up trying to fucking justify whether or not I actually ever had a motorcycle because in my dream I couldn't fucking find it.
Damn.
Yeah, it fucking.
I mean, I've had real arguments with people about things I thought happened or thought didn't happen, but like it comes to find out that it was me dreaming or them dreaming.
Agreed. But also, like, I don't know if I had that conversation with you. I've talked about it with other people, but I also talk about it in that same podcast. If you go back to episode 0, I talk about that. We had a pilot episode.
Well, I have like fucked up dreams. When I remember them, it's always something along the lines of either I died. Or somebody I'm very close to died, and then my dream is what, like, let's say it's me dying, and so in my dream, like, say I have a dream tonight that I died. In my dream, I would be watching, using my perception of others. Like, I like to play a mental game where after I get to know somebody for a while, I will have a whole conversation with them, like in my head. And based on how they normally answer and talk to stuff, my mind will try to build that conversation, how they would respond and react to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you'll see me in real life. If I ever come up to you and I just say some random off the wall shit to start a conversation, more than likely I've done that brain exercise and I'm trying to see how close I am to right by creating the conversation in real life.
I've done that millions of times, having discussions or fights ahead of time.
In my dream, I will live life like looking over your shoulder, how I think you, like, let's say Joe, would directly react to my death, hearing of my death, and basing what I think how you would react to it on the little bit of interaction you and I have had. And that'll be my whole dream. And I mean, it'll be like visceral, like the dream is fucked up. Like the more I know the person, the stronger and harder it hits. I've literally woke up out of my sleep, unable to breathe, tears running down my face, and checking to make sure everything was okay. I've had dreams like where one of my kids passed away, and I woke up, my wife came in there one night. I was on the floor in my kids' room. They're passed the fuck out. I was just crying, just sitting there by their beds and checking them every 5 seconds because this dream was so real that something happened to them. I just didn't want to sleep anymore. I wanted to make sure they were okay. Yeah. And she came in and found me like that. It was like a whole fucked up thing. Like when I have dreams, they are hardcore. I either don't remember anything or it's that level shit. It's crazy.
That's the kind of shit, you know. Yeah, I've had very in the same, you know, vein. I woke up and maybe this was in a particular tumultuous time of my life where I wasn't sure who liked me or who hated me, which seems to be every other fucking week at this point. But this is a different story. Where I had the dream that these I don't want to call them a gang, but definitely a group of people who I think in the dream were my friends at some point. Basically, they fucking cornered me somewhere. Either I was driving or I was at work. Either way, I was in my car that, you know, I've spent years working on, putting a lot of fucking time and effort, customizing, all this kind of shit. And like, they pulled me out of the car, kicked my ass, and then fucking set the car on fire in front of me. And it fucking held me there and made me fucking watch it burn to the ground. And I fucking woke up in tears, you know, and all fucked up, you know. So those kind of dreams, they're not uncommon. Like you might have a little bit more than other people, generally speaking, but who knows?
That's how you know this is all simulation, bro. Like none of it is real. You never know. It's all perception.
If it is a simulation, I want to know who made the decision to have Amber Heard shit on Johnny Depp's side of the bed as a way to get back at him for just leaving a fight.
You gotta admit, at least it's like at least somewhat humorous, man. Like I don't know. Like I definitely have had like funny shitters like in my life. Like in high school, I went to a military boarding school, and there was like this stretch for a while where like there was like shit showing up. Like there was a shit at the commandant's fucking table. No one know how to get. There was a shit on top of an arcade machine in the fucking break room. So, and we're talking about military boarding school with like rolling patrols and shit.
You had a mad pooper.
We call him the Phantom Shitter, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't like that's just fucking hilarious.
What was that? What was that lady who got caught eventually? Finally, every morning she would be jogging and then she would stop at a specific person's house, shit in their fucking front yard, and then just keep running. It's like, so she was literally called the mad, huh? Yeah. So I mean, that's just fucked up.
Dante and I had a whole conversation just the other day about this. Him and I were messaging talking about the Depp and Heard thing, and we were like, I guess he'd done his podcast the night before with the guy he does his podcast with.
Oh yeah,
and they had kind of brushed on it, talking about
was that
is she even
Social Club?
Yeah, Compton Social Club.
Yep.
Like, is she even hot enough to shit in a bed and not worry about it? You know, like they're like,
no.
What level of hot do you have to be? And like, so him and I started talking about it. And I'm like, I don't know if there's really any chick that I'd be okay with just shitting in my bed. And then I said, okay, let me backtrack that a little. Couple questions. 1, do I have to watch her shit in the bed? 2, does it have to be my bed? And 3, do I have to clean it up when she's done? And he's like, I mean, let's just say no. And I'm like, cool. Then Selma Hayek is hot enough to shit in my bed. I would let her do it. Nobody else is allowed to shit in my bed. That is one of the most fucked up things I've ever heard in my life, to angrily take a dump in somebody's bed. I'm not hating this kink thing. This is not somebody who's into Cleveland Steamers. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a lady who's so pissed off she shits in her husband's bed. That is fucking psychotic.
And send him a picture of it to make sure he knew.
That is fucking nuts.
So
that is.
So for everyone who is unfamiliar with this, and obviously, you know, Joe is semi unfamiliar with it because he said he doesn't follow celebrity news. So Johnny Depp.
I mean, this is big enough to where like I know a cursor.
And it's meme culture now. It's made it deep in the meme culture. As my buddy Sean, not the one from this show, every single day is posting at least 15 different Amber Heard shit memes. So that's that. But either way, so they got divorced back in 2017, if I remember correctly, and basically they split their ways, and he ended up having to give her $7 million to just go away. Essentially, they had a shitty fucking marriage that didn't even last a year. You know,
shitty. I see what you did there.
Yep. So, I snuck it in there. So, basically, throughout the entire time, she came out later and claimed in an op-ed that she did, talking about a very abusive relationship that she was in, how her man that she was with would beat her and stuff like that. She never named him within the article, but it came out and everybody just went, well, duh, you literally just got out of this fucking relationship. And like, without using his name, she definitely was referring to him, you know?
Right.
So he ended up having to go for a lawsuit against this thing, and it failed.
She was like, she didn't say it's Johnny Depp. She's like, he played a pirate captain, and he was a really young police officer who used to go bust drug dealers in high school.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying
it's Johnny Depp.
It was like that.
Yeah,
and
and he sued her for that initially in the UK, you know, trying to claim defamation, all this kind of stuff, and the court ended up fucking him over on that one, actually agreeing with her.
And he lost on that.
And he lost on that big time. And then what happened after this is that she then started claiming that, yes, he was beating me. You know, he was very abusive, you know, started showing pictures of where she had a black eye that she claimed he gave her. And it ended up ultimately getting him canceled both on the Disney front from the Pirates movies and on the WB front from the Harry Potter universe, the extended shit from Fantastic Beasts and all that. And, now what they're going through is actually, people think it's actually an abuse case. It's actually a defamation case going on right now, that he's suing her for defamation and the loss of money through those contracts and all that kind of shit like that. But of course,
he's not even saying, he's not even like suing her for abusing him. He's suing her for just lying about him and like making him
ruining his fucking life.
Ruining his career because he's lost millions of dollars and nobody wants to touch him. I mean, it's crazy.
It's not even just money. It's like your fucking.
It's his reputation. Everything. Yeah. And this was in the height of the Me Too movement. Like, so that was a big. She was actually one of the like precursors. Like, who really got out there when it wasn't just about the producers and directors and stuff like that who were doing it, you know, the Harvey Weinsteins and stuff like that. That was the best section of the Me Too movement that I absolutely agree with once I found the egregious shit he was doing. But in this case, This was in the height of the Believe All Women movement as all, where it
we've made fun of that shit on fucking Nerd Rage.
Exactly. I know you have. That's why I bring it up as well. See, one reason is because you guys have talked about it over there is another good reason for you to come in on this. But it's come out through this trial because they have videos, they have phone conversations, they've got all kinds of stuff that has now shown very unfavorably to her that she has basically been the abuser almost their entire relationship.
Yeah.
Now, before we get too far into that,
yes.
They're both fucked up individuals.
And I know this.
Is just a shit show relationship that should have never happened.
Yes.
But she is definitely the one who was doing all the stuff she was blaming him for doing.
Yes.
Yeah, to be fair, right? Like, we're talking about celebrities, but like the way I see it, celebrities are just fucking people too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
they just have more money.
Yeah, their shitty relationship is no crazier than, say, the person you're with, Shoki, right? Or some of the people I've been with, right? Like it's just that they are public figures and people get to follow along to their fucking train wreck, where we all know train wrecks in our lives. I don't think it's fair, just because I think part is a vicious cycle. It's a two-parter. Like you say, we say, celebrities are fucked up and they have too much fame or power, or whatever. But at the same token, like, they're giving it to it by the people.
Yeah.
And on thirdly, humans aren't meant to fucking handle that. Like, I can't imagine handling being famous. That's got to be damaging to your psyche to be that famous. Mm-hmm. Especially it makes you not a normal human anymore. You can't live like a normal human. That fucks you up.
Yeah, I mean, okay, look at it this way. Talk about celebrity fucking people up. Johnny Depp is from Kentucky. He's not this weird European accent, fake British thing he does.
Yeah,
is all a front. He's from Kentucky. Like, that's where he's born and raised. It's like, but he adopted this. It's almost like it's a variation of like the Mid-Atlantic thing that also kind of came about in like the 20s and 30s when TV and movies started doing, and they needed to come up with a fake sounding accent that sounded vaguely British but more important than normal. So that's why TV and movies started to sound that way back in the day. And a lot of people also who came up in that acting wise also just adopted that accent in general. So that's one thing, like you're talking about. You got to think Johnny Depp grew up, his first movie was, he was in his teens, right? I don't think
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. He was in his teens. I mean, maybe like 19 or whatever, still young. And I don't know what he did prior to that. Probably some kid acting.
Before you get too far, you just made me think of like my second favorite meme of this whole thing was the clip from him from Nightmare on Elm Street where he's being pulled down into the bed and the blood spraying.
Yeah.
And it says, and Johnny Depp thought this was going to be the worst thing that happened in his fucking bed. And then it shows a pile of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great one. I've seen that one too. I've seen a lot due to Sean sharing them constantly. No joke. He shares about 15 a day. How he keeps finding more of them. He hasn't repeated any of them yet. It's impressive. No, I don't.
He's the root of all the memes.
I could give him some credit for doing that if he did. But
so you're talking about he was a teenage actor.
Yes. So the idea that they're normal people, but elevated to a status that normal people aren't supposed to have. Modern day gods, as it were.
Can't handle. Yeah.
Yes, and you can't handle that shit. And
it's too much power, too much fame, too much attention.
Well, here's the thing,
though. Ego. It swells your ego to a bursting point.
Yeah. So this is the other thing, though. At least with Johnny, when it comes to this, the other thing that has come out in this that's made public is he grew up with an extremely abusive mother. Much like you talked about with your grandfather and how he beat his wife, his mom beat the fuck out of him and I think his siblings, if he has siblings, and it was bad. So he developed that the reflex. Yes. Wow. So he retreats from fights. He doesn't, especially sober, I should say, because yes, Johnny's not innocent in this because he definitely had a drug and alcohol problem that has been brought up in this trial. However, there's never been a case of actual reverse abuse, as it were, or even necessarily defending himself other than like slamming some cabinet doors, maybe throwing something here and there. But she's made him bleed and nearly lost a fucking portion of his finger in her rages. And like I said, I don't want to just defend him infinitely and attack her, but that is what this has turned into.
I'm going to say, why shouldn't we? Because we spent a whole 2-3 years just talking about what it, not us, but I'm saying the world.
Yeah, running him through the garbage.
Johnny Depp was for beating on Amber Heard, and poor Amber Heard. Why should we just real quick? Well, let's not dump on her too much. Fuck that shit. She dragged him through the fucking mud for years. I think it should be eye for an eye.
And him being like basically innocent and him being a victim. It like, can you imagine the psychological trauma he has had to deal with for like the last few years?
Exactly.
That is psychological damage.
Yeah. So
remember the difference between broken, damaged, and devastated.
Yeah.
These are what I'm talking about.
So he went in this. If this is the case, I would say that he went from definitely being broken to being at this new level, definitely devastated, because it ruined his life in a very different way. You know, it's different if you're on the, I'm just getting my ass kicked, I can keep this in private and no one needs to know about it, and I'm just going to get drunk and fuck things up sometimes, versus now everyone knows about it. I was falsely accused of this shit for years. I lost out on at least $50 million, let alone just the loss of credibility that you can't really regain in this modern day and era, you know.
He's going to be catching side eye for the rest of his career. Like
forever. It'll never.
This might change it. This might change it so that, like, you know, people see him as the victim. You know,
yes,
but it's always going to be. But it's always going to be that. But did he?
It's always going to be tainted to a degree.
Try to put his. You know, what I'm saying it's never going to be he was a victim. He was mostly the victim, and it's that mostly part that's going to fuck him up for years to come, because they're always going to be that. But did he put his hands on her at least once?
Yes.
Did he? Because I think he did. You know, that's got to be a thing. Like, that's how people are going to think when they see him.
But that's a fair point. But I will say that to be fair, so far this is only the first half. This is only his side so far. That's why it's all been about him.
Fucking lawyer's a goddamn joke, dude.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. The meme of the if you see the clips, if you watch the videos I posted earlier, I know Joe has an issue with accents, but you know, it was a British guy doing the thing. They talk about
I watched it. It was fine.
Yeah, okay. I was hoping it would be. So the whole thing where it literally became a meme where the other lawyer is like hearsay, where Joe he literally stops to wait. He literally stopped to wait. But I liked the framing on it where the guy reviewing the stuff and showing us literally said, it's like, also he's now in a way taking the same type of abuse in the courtroom
from her lawyer
that he took from her, where he wasn't allowed to speak up. And that's just crazy. And
like, I watched a TikTok video that had that whole clip in it.
Yeah.
And then part of it too was where the lawyer kept asking him if he signed a piece of paper. He's like, is that your signature at such a day? He's like, yes, it is. That's my signature. And then like it went flip forward in time, and it's like, so what you're saying is that's your signature? And like he looks at the guy, he's like, yes, that's my signature. He literally
kept trying to break him on
and then like the lawyer said it like later, he's like, so on April 29th, 2022, that's your signature right there? He's like, same signature I told you was mine the first 3 times. Like he's sort of like getting so exasperated with that lawyer. Like, this lawyer.
That's why not to go too deep into it, because we've had some very big public trials in the last year or two. That is a major tactic where you can literally just keep fucking ragging on about the same fucking and at some point it isn't badgering, and that's the problem. But when the judge finally says, "Fuck you, you've said the same thing 6 goddamn times, and you've drug us through this shit for 3 hours. I'm done with this line of questioning." That's when it's nice. But
the judge will jump in and say, "Asked and answered."
Asked and answered. Yes. If they do that, yes, that's fantastic when they finally get there. But the fact that it's turned into such a giant meme, and he's been personable through it despite all the shit he's had to sit there.
It makes it look good.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, but like,
and I'll say, even during the height of it all, when she was dumping on him, he didn't come out with, swinging for the fences. He kind of kept quiet about it then too. Like, even when he was being drugged through the mud, he popped up and said, "I didn't do that," but he pretty much just left it alone at that.
I think
he wasn't making YouTube videos or drunken phone calls in a bathtub eating a cheeseburger talking about "fuck you, bitch." Da, da, da. He didn't
because
do
it would have been worse. It would have been worse for him if he did.
Yep.
But
I think it well.
I do. Well, he handled it well. That's broad shoulders to take that. You said it a minute ago. That's very demasculating for that to hit the world. It's just like what happened with Will. It's very demasculating for the world to find out what was supposed to be private in your house,
and to show what little is left of you from what people think of your public image.
And
But-
he took it. He very quietly took it, and I got to give him credit for that. That's like, if it was me, I'd be saying, I'd be like, I told you that bitch was crazy. I fucking look at these fucking videos.
Oh,
I told you that bitch was nuts.
seemingly,
Like, that's my reaction. He's just been very, look, I said I wasn't me. These are the facts. Here's some recordings. Here's some writings. Here's some pictures. Figure that shit out.
I have
he handled it with a lot of grace for what it's happening.
Well, I'll say this. I have a feeling that he tried and was shut down because of the social movements that were happening. Because we've seen it happen before where people have literally tried to defend themselves and literally get the truth out there in what happened in a particular case, whatever it might be. And they were never allowed to tell their side because the side was already spoken for.
Yeah,
but it still exists. But that them getting it out there, still exists, and you could still find it if you wanted to.
Yeah,
it's like when
I bet if we dig it up, I bet we could.
Like when we had that Disney conversation, I said they couldn't hide this shit if they want to. It's there. I mean, even if they shut it down, it's still available for you to find and look at. It's not gone away. The internet does not erase. You can't take everything down from the internet. Somewhere, somebody would have a copy of whatever was released to the internet, and we would still see and hear. Especially now with this all coming back this way, the guy would pop up and be like, "Hey, this was the video he posted back in 2017 where he said such and such. They tried to erase it. Here's a fucking copy of it." Like, it would be back out again.
Yeah.
And the fact that none of that's coming out, that means he didn't put it out there.
Well,
because this day and age, nothing goes away. You put it out there, it stays out there for fucking ever.
I do agree with you on that point, and I have a feeling that it may have. I mean, we're not watching every second of the trial, and we are seeing a lot of questioning from the opposite side when it comes to that kind of stuff, you know. But the thing is like everything that has come out from one side is literally from Johnny's side, I should say, is all of the abuse he endured, whether it was the actual beatings, whether it was the verbal kind of stuff where she said, "Look, what are you going to do? You're going to go out there and tell everybody that Johnny Depp's wife is fucking beating him and he's not enough of a man to fucking stand up to her?" He
hasn't recorded saying that, dude. She flat out says
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like literally like she has it so he's so fucked at that point that he wouldn't even fight back, and he just tried to literally self-preservation was more important than the actual fight, you know. And the point, like whenever she did finally shit the bed, she was so mad that he actually finally literally left the fucking fight, because there's other times where she wouldn't let him leave, you know, beating him so that he couldn't fucking leave, you know, like, you're not going to leave, you're not going to walk away from his fight, because that was what he developed, you know. What was it, battered spouse syndrome or whatever they call it?
Yeah.
You know,
it's also like it is the high road, really. You really shouldn't. Leaving the fight is the right answer.
Yes, always it is. And like, what now? I've been in some, I don't want to say physical altercations, but you know, we've all gotten into something with our significant other, and
I've got a black eye. I had an abusive ex.
Yeah, I did want to get into personal stories if you're fine with it, because I was going to talk about. I'm
always fine with everything, bro.
Yeah, I know, but like some people don't like to talk about those kind of things. But that's one reason why, for me at least, was important to get you in on this conversation. Not just the social aspect of what happened to Johnny and the fact that it was buried in the continual abuse from the public he took, but the fact that in private he had to deal with it in his own manner, in which case was drinking and drugs and all that kind of shit like that. And I'm sure he's somewhat clean at this point, but like some people don't have that escape. Some people don't have the ability to leave the fight. Some people are stuck with it, you know. In my case, I did have a somewhat physical abusive relationship in high school, of all things. You know, it wasn't even like as an adult. My long running girlfriend, and I don't even know where this came from, but I finally started recognizing the pattern around about the time we split up. And she would hit me. And at first it would start out in a playful manner. And then eventually it's turned into, you know, when the crazy laugh kind of starts, you know,
yeah.
You see that moment. And then she continues to hit me. Like, and I don't bruise easy. Like if I bruise, something is really fucking ruptured on the inside. Like, and not to say literal thick skin, but like it takes a while for a bruise to get to the surface for me, you know. And like she would fucking just start wailing on me and just laughing the whole goddamn time. And then one time in the pool, in what started out as a playful manner, she fucking bit me. Like she fucking chomped down on my forearm. and was just laughing like a mad bitch the whole time. And I got a fucking ridiculous infection that cost us a fuckload of money to clear up from that bite.
Oh yeah, human bites are fucking awful, bro.
Exactly. As somebody who, has been through medical stuff, and you got to think I was fucking, I guess anywhere from 16 to 18 when we finally split. We were together for years off and on. And I don't even know where it came from. Like, usually when it comes to, and I say usually in a broad way, obviously, when it comes to abuse, it seems like it's, an abusive person came from an abusive background. Usually it goes like, you were abused, therefore you will abuse. It's not always, but a general kind of thing. And like, I know her dad was a hard ass, and I know her stepmom was a fucking cunt. And I'm not afraid to use that word because it accurately describes people. But like, I look at it with her, and I'm just like, I don't know where it came from. Like,
and sometimes people are just like, fuck
exactly.
You,
and I think
like there doesn't always have to be an answer or like a specific reason why people are the way they are.
Yeah. But like, and then, because I talked about my previous ex, and that was a lot of emotional, like, okay, look, you're either never going to be as good as my ex who's dead, so you're never going to live up to the standard that I've set for myself and for my child. So I'm never going to let you emotionally deal with this. I'm also never going to let you be the person you want to be as well, because you have to fit in this box. So like, the little bit of abusive relationship from high school, and then the emotional fucking shit that this other one put me through, is like, I look at it back now as somebody who like knows what not to bring into a relationship on that same level, Yeah,
I mean, it's rough too, because like, being in high school, you're young, you don't have enough life experience, you don't have enough experience dealing with people to like handle a situation like that. You're not equipped. So like, when you start to be in bad relationship or like abusive relationships, like there was no tool for you to get out, properly.
Yeah.
Not like if you lived like in your 30s, when you're a fucking teenager, you are hardly being able to be a human to begin with by yourself, and then being put in that situation.
Yeah. As a teenager, you're the stupidest version of a human being.
Yeah, like, you don't have any, like, we all learn from experience, right? A lot of our reactions and how we handle situations, because you see it, you've seen it, you recognize it, and you know how to deal with it. You don't have anything to refer to as a fucking 16-year-old.
No. Especially, well, I mean, like, your only reference would be, at least for relationships at that age, when you're first starting out dating and whatnot, is going to be your parents as a romantic basic, or whatever you have there, or your friends, who also might be
shit you see on TV.
I was gonna say that too, TV or movies, but obviously that's fake. Everybody aspires to be that. That's why I appreciate late 90s, early 2000s. They started to show us more real basis instead of the TGIF relationships, that we all grew up where everything was happy and nobody ever fucked up except for the fact there was a dead mom in the beginning. Now, not I don't want to pry, obviously, but I do want to ask, because it has come up before, either on Nerd Rage or other things like that, the abuse that you went through.
Yeah, I was with a girl for like 5.5 years, like, and it was good to be. That's the thing with abuse, right? That's and just observation from other people in bad relationship in general, not necessarily abusive, just like not good. It's an escalation. It always starts small. Yep. Right? It always starts with a small argument, right? Then you start arguing more, and then somehow, before you know it, it escalates to the point where you in this point of no return, or like you've gone too far, like where you are now officially just in a bad relationship and not a relationship that has problems. Same with abuse. It starts with like, a little insult here or there, into full blown fights, and then eventually just like being berated like you're less than human. It didn't start that way. It wasn't like that in day one. Everyone has a honeymoon period. Usually people have a honeymoon period in a relationship anyway, where the first few months is great. You just fucking having a great time and fucking all the time and going everywhere, right?
Yep.
And then you settle down, where, you really get to know each other, where you really, see what the other person is like. So, with this girl, she was my first, like, I guess, second really, really long, like, really serious relationship. I was like, what, 20, 21, something like that. But yeah, it it started off as an equal relationship, and then eventually she became the dominating person, to where I start, just being more and more and more submissive, just to feel like I'm walking on eggshells to stay on her good side.
Yeah.
And it's easy to, it's still easy for me now. When you see someone in an abusive relationship, always just leave. But I also, at the same breath, know that it's not that fucking simple.
That fucking easy.
Especially when emotions are involved. Like I said, emotions are irrational. You cannot fucking ration your way out of emotions. If you think you are in love with a person, you want to be with that person, you do some fucking crazy mental gymnastics. You think about it's not always bad. There was that one good day where we're really happy. It was real good times. And you hold on to that kind of shit, right?
Yeah,
and
you'll excuse a lot of behavior.
Yeah.
Oh,
especially,
but it was just like this. It's not that big a deal.
Especially, like I said, when you have the good beginning, right? You can always look back to those first few months and be like, that's the way it can be or should be.
Yeah, if we can get back to that.
We can get back to that. If I can just fix myself, if I can just not piss her off, right?
Yeah, it's my fault. I did it. That made her mad. I just got to not do that again. Yeah.
And as a slippery slope, because if you went from normal, single, or to beginning of the relationship to that point right away, if she just started acting that way, you would leave easily. You'd be like, you're crazy. But you somehow just slowly slip into that fucking downward spiral somehow. And then eventually, she wasn't physically abusive all the time, but she gets mad enough to smack me around some, open hand, nothing crazy. I'm tough enough dude. It's not it was really physically traumatizing, right? It was more emotionally traumatizing that she's physically hitting me than anything.
Yeah.
But then eventually there are times when she's punched. When
words weren't enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you most people will build a tolerance to things, just like how you can slide into that abusive relationship and it becomes normal, right? When you get berated all the time so much, or when you get a certain reaction from a certain, it becomes normal. Yeah, it becomes normal. So you start reacting she started yelling at me again. That's just another fucking Tuesday, right? So and then it escalates.
It's exactly. You were just saying it, Shoki, and I was thinking it. It's the frog in the pot thing. You slowly turn up the heat. Yeah. The frog doesn't even realize it's happening until it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 2 weeks into it and she just suddenly flips out on you and fucking slaps you, unless you're into it, you're not going to stick around to see if that's better. Now, and then that's when the excuses also might start. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was drunk. I don't do this. I just, it was a bad day. They excuse their own behavior, and then you start until you get to the point you're making the excuse for them, and then you're apologizing for what they did to you. That's the ultimate problem. I'm sorry, I made you beat me. If you watch Christopher Titus, if you watch anything from Titus's stand up when he talks about his massively.
I always watch a show too.
When he talks about that abusive relationship he was in, was I'm so sorry you made me beat me. That kind of shit. And while I don't like Titus anymore, that was the real stuff that I did appreciate from him. Is just he took a turn in the last few years where I was just like, dude, go back to what you were really good at. This is the opposite of where you should be on that side note. But yeah, that's the same way. I looked at it even back as a teenager. I put those same exact things where excusing the behavior over, I didn't take any blame on myself. Obviously it wasn't that kind of situation. It wasn't a fight. It was actually a completely different level of abuse where she's fucking me up, and enjoying it and just being a weirdo about it. And I would defend myself in the manner of either I'm going to get away or I'm going to stop her.
But you're not gonna fight a chick, most of us are not gonna fucking fight a chick, right?
Yeah.
I have done enough to where I would restrain, when she starts smacking me, I
hold her wrist. Yeah,
and she fucking kneed me in the ball once. I learned real quick that to
turn
fucking put my turn the leg after that one time.
Hit the hip and get it in the way.
Turn the hip and get it. So what's funny, I want to just, so this is a different level. I just want to tell this too. So with Miss SHOKY currently, we had a few fights not long ago where she was definitely letting stuff get pent up and just, you know, it would come out, you know, in rage, you know, on minor bullshit, you know. We're not getting into physical altercations or anything else like that, but, you know, maybe throwing stuff or screaming at each other back and forth. You know, like I said, people go through shit. But early on in our relationship, a few years ago, because we've been together for going on 7 years in July, she would come home and her work really fucking sucked. Like, really fucking sucked. It was great for like a long time. Also a very kind of abusive thing, taking advantage of her.
Work is a very often abusive situation.
Super abusive. And that's one reason why I had to step down from what I was doing in my job to doing a different job where I was going to fucking quit or die because of the actual mental and physical abuse there.
Yep.
But with her, it turned into, and I literally had to say this to her. I told her, do not come home and take out the bullshit that you deal with at work on me. Because I'm not going to deal with it. It's like
the shit rolling downhill thing.
Yeah, and that's what I told her. Is like, you are mad at what they were doing and putting you through, but you're taking it out on me. And to see the light bulb go on in that moment, I was like, okay, I did the right thing here.
Yeah, sometimes people don't realize it. There's a very natural, like, that's something I've, very much be mindful of, because, like, I do deal with a lot of things throughout life that bothers me, but like I've always been very careful to not take it out on people, like to compartmentalize what I feel about one thing and not bring it over to something else, because that's not fair. Because that's another thing that I've been on the receiving end of.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure everybody does. Misdirected anger, misdirected frustration.
You're upset in general, right? You're upset in general, so you act out. No matter who's around you, you're gonna act that way towards them, and it's not fair.
So it's.
Well, I know I have to deal with that with my wife. Like sometimes my ex-wife with my kids and stuff will just she knows which buttons to push me into that rage mode.
Yeah,
and my wife will come to say something and I'll snap and I'll literally catch myself like, I'm sorry. Look, Schwat Waffle has me pissed off right now. Give me a few minutes to cool down. It's not you, I promise. I'm pissed at her and I'm sorry you're catching it. So just let me get a few minutes to cool off and then I'll talk to you and we'll figure out how to handle this situation.
Yeah.
But it takes me a lot. There's sometimes when I'm so far gone that I explode all over my wife, and so to speak. And I have to go back like very contritely and like, let her know that I'm really sorry. And I try to, in our moments of peace and quiet, I tell her, I was like, I know that one of these days, that explosion, that misdirection of my anger is going to be the reason that you'll say, I've had enough. And I am trying very hard to make sure that moment never comes up in our lives.
The easiest way is like what you say, like what you do is walk away. It's like when you're upset, just like before you even get into a conversation, just be like, look, I'm not in the right headspace to hang right now. Give me, a little bit of time.
Yeah. But you're self-reflective enough to know it.
Yes. And that's one thing she has a hard time with, because she's a very nurturing and loving woman. Like whenever I'm upset or hurt, she wants to fix it.
And you need
she wants
space.
To bandage it. She wants to pet my head and let me know everything's okay, shit like that. And I tell her, like, I'll come out on the back porch and I'll fire up a cigarette. And our back doors, they're glass, like you can see into the house from them. And she'll come up to it and I'll see her out of the side of my eye and I'll turn my head and I'll just hold my finger up. I'm like, you have to give me a minute.
Yep.
And we've talked in peace, in times of peace, talking with each other. She's like, that's really hard for me to do because I see you're upset. Like you're physically reacting, like you're shaking, you're like, you guys here, I'm a talker. I can go on and I can laugh and I can joke. But when I'm upset, like if I'm sad, my reaction to that is anger. And when I'm angry, I get quiet. I mean, like dead calm quiet. Like if you see me being quiet, know that I'm either asleep, which even then I won't be quiet because I snore, or I'm fucking pissed off about something. And neither one of those are times you're going to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel you on that though. Like that's a defense mechanism for myself too. Like my go-to reaction is to be angry, is because it's better than being sad. So anytime I feel something negative, before I even let myself get sad, I'd get angry. So I feel you.
Angry is productive.
Yeah, and anger, I can deal with anger easier because it's like you're proactively doing something, whereas being sad is like something being done to you. You're the victim at that point.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's
one you're pushing outward and one's collapsing inwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So with the anger, you can like in Joe's case, he can go, work out. Like he can put that anger and frustration into working out
redirect it in a healthy manner.
Into a proactive thing. When you're sad, you can't.
You don't want to fucking do anything.
Next time you're like blue, when you're sad, you're go try to work out and see how well that works out.
You can't do shit.
Look at Simone.
You'll get halfway through your reps and just give up.
Take it back to Gurren Lagaan.
Yep.
When they literally had a visual representation when he was sad and depressed, he literally couldn't get his spiral energy up to even bother to fucking fight proper.
No, he couldn't do anything. He was just fucking laying there.
That's what I'm saying. They did such a beautiful job expressing that, because here we are talking and we're saying the words, but somebody who's never experienced it still might not understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
But that cartoon, like, you can be
visualize it,
never having lived through it, and see exactly what the hell we're talking about. That's why I say that those 3 to 4 episodes, they're a lot deeper than they should be for a fucking cartoon. They're way deeper than they should.
That's the problem with people who refuse to watch things like this, because it's just a cartoon, and it's just like, hello, you don't know what the fuck you're getting into. I mean, okay, even most people would agree if they've seen it. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I love that. I love Avatar so much.
Yeah, on the surface,
that's just got so many levels.
Yeah, yep. On the surface, it's just a dumb kids show, and even though it was put out on Nickelodeon and it's written from the point of view of preteens, it is super emotional and dealing, especially when you start getting into Zuko. Like, that is one of the best written characters ever.
That abusive relationship he had with his dad.
And still wants to please him, and and then the sister.
That's a perfect. That is a perfect example.
Does that count as an anime?
Technically,
it's an American anime. Right?
It's an American anime, basically.
It's American. It's like the first case of American anime.
Then that's another one you can add to my list, because when I say anime, I mean directly from Japan.
Yeah, usually I do too. Yeah, but it's specifically American anime.
And like Voltron and shit like that, the newer Voltron, like I've seen those too. So those are on my anime list too of things I've seen.
Yeah. Also fantastic.
The list keeps growing.
So, done by the same people.
Yep.
Voltron was done by Studio Mir. So yeah, it's done by the same people. That's why it was good. Also, if you haven't watched it yet, we talked about it. Vox Machina. That's a very different show.
I've been watching Critical Role for years.
Okay,
the actual show.
But have you watched Vox
Machina? I'm a big D&D fan. So I fucking did a $300 Kickstarter tier on that.
Oh, okay. So you were involved on that.
I'm
referring to Rikki though.
Yeah, I was watching it for the game, for fucking since the year 1.
Yeah. Okay,
I think that's the one that they're putting out. Somebody's putting out action figures of them right now.
Yes, they are. McFarlane, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some pastures too nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
Yeah. So I think
it's relatively new. It's on Prime. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
especially if you like
2 months ago. Yeah.
Yep.
So I do want to bring up something since we're talking about it here, and Ricky's reticence towards anime in a generality.
Not reticence, or like I tried to explain last time, it missed me.
I know, but the hard part is getting back into it.
Here. Yeah, it's just something that never, like, all my friends weren't into it. I knew one guy that liked anime, and he was the guy that was on the outskirts of our group. You know what I mean? He was. Yeah. He was what the normies consider us inside our group. I get you. Guy.
So since I have Joe here, and because you listen to Joe, I recommend.
He's a wise man.
Yeah. So I recommended that he watch Demon Slayer.
Okay. I haven't watched season 2. I need to.
It's fucking fantastic.
I watched season 1 and I watched the movie.
Okay.
And I though I love it, from what I've seen, right? I haven't seen season 2. I haven't finished the manga because I know the manga's over. It's a complete story. And people who've read the manga says it's amazing.
Yes.
And while I love fucking Demon Slayer, I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. And I love the studio that animates it, obviously. There's an amazing studio.
Insanely beautiful animation.
I also think it's, at the same time, overrated so far.
No, I get that. I do
Good, but
get
overrated.
That. It's very shonen. It's very shonen in the story aspect of it. But like you said, you haven't seen season 2 just yet. So season 2 does a lot more, not to mention, and it's easy to fall into the fights aspect of it.
But, I mean, the fights are amazing. And I don't mind the shonen part. What I mind, what Bobby sees of anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the goofiness, the silliness. I see what he sees. Where most of the time it doesn't bother me. Sometimes it's too much. Like in Demon Slayer, like the goofy parts are too goofy from the left field that the rest of the show can be very serious and it takes away from it. Like Demon Train. Demon Train was is fucking amazing, but there were some parts in the beginning where it just really turned me off because it was too goofy.
Talking about
and it does the tone, the tone is just off from what the rest of the show is.
Yeah, I think.
But otherwise, I really enjoyed Demon Slayer and I recommend it.
The only
every time I've tried to watch anime over the years, like when people have tried to intersperse it and hand it to me, like check this out, my reaction to that was like Bobby's reaction to it. That what was up with the big eyes and the do and all over. Like that's exactly those were the ones that people were sending me to watch.
But see, like you have to be in it, like I don't know, like you have to either be able to stomach it or get used to it. Because like if you look at it from the surface, Gurren Lagann is all of that. Non-stop,
all of the tropes.
The entire time. But it was done well to me. It was done well enough to where it didn't distract from the point of the show.
Yes.
Gotcha.
The deeper meaning actually went beyond the surface.
Shines through. Yeah.
Yeah, like, because it is really goofy. If you look at even the animation style is extremely goofy. But yet at the same time it's very serious.
Yeah.
But like now as adults, like here we are, a bunch of, couple of 40-year-old pluses and almost 40-year-olds.
I'm getting there.
Like you guys can tell it to me. Like we can have that talk about the drill, like that, how it affects your aspect. And like at 20, we didn't have that conversation. At 20, you'd have been like, dude, check out that chick's tits. And I'm like, okay, cool. I was getting laid on the regular. I didn't, cartoon tits weren't cutting it for me.
Oh man,
I don't know. I always
love cartoon tits. I think it's because I was raised on it.
Yeah, but I mean, in theory,
but that's what I'm saying. Because I never had that. Like when I was in my teens, that's when I saw Ninja Scroll, Records of the Lotus War. Yeah, like those Evangelion, all that was in the 90s when I was in my teens. Yeah, and that's so when I had that in my head, and somebody's like, "Hey, you want to check out some anime?" I'm expecting that.
Yeah,
and then they would put on.
That's why there's like a Neo. There's a Neo version now, really. Since
I to this day, I have never watched a single episode of Dragon Ball Z. I own
you don't need to.
You don't need to.
It's not great. No. Yeah, it's not great.
I own the whole first season in here in a box set that my cousin-in-law gave us for the boys to watch, and I still haven't even cracked it open. It's still got the plastic around it.
That is for kids, but that's for kids.
I like it because I watch it I grew up on it. That's why I like it. I always say I don't recommend it to newcomers.
G.I. Joe is trash, except if you watch it as a kid.
But you want to watch some, serious shit. I always say anime is not a genre in itself. It's just a medium.
It's a billion different. It's a medium.
It's a medium. It's just like movies is a medium. Well, so I was anything you like, you can find it.
I was gonna tell him.
Yeah, I love shonen. I love Ronin stuff. I love samurai stuff. Different. No Ronin, because I took martial arts when I was younger. I took Shorin and Taisho Ryu, which is Japanese karate, which very much is big on following the 5 principles of the shogun, like so I love anything that goes into that level. That's why I think Ninja Scroll really was tight. Like it was in that pocket, you know what I mean? It's very much where I like it at. And I like Records of the Lotus War because again, even back then, I'm a nerd. Now, mind you, I'm a 6'4", 220-pound football player at the time, but inside me, I'm a nerd. I'm still a Batman fan. I still read comics, I'm that guy, but I was still a nerd. And Records of the Lotus War scratched that whole The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings itch back then that didn't exist.
It's a little bit of fantasy in there.
Yeah,
I was going to say you should watch Gintama.
It might be too goofy. I like Gintama.
I know, but I was like, but that's where my brain went.
Serious stuff. I like the.
Okay.
If you got serious, watch Samurai X.
Yeah,
the 2 Samurai X movies.
Okay.
You don't have to watch Kenshin. Kenshin is a series in which these are movies that are prequel to the show, but you don't have to watch the show. Just watch these movies. They're fucking great.
Okay. I've definitely heard of them. I have not watched them.
This is the things that I need from you, Joe. Is the list of you now know that this is my style, and even it's not even so much a cartoon because as you know now, like you just said, Gurren Lagann is very looking at Ninja Scroll and then looking at Gurren Lagann. One is
It's
an
not the
adult
same.
anime and one is a kid's goofy anime. But they're both adult leveled, serious, deeply introspective, metaphysical, spiritual shows underneath those covers.
Yeah.
If you're not watching any Gundams, bro, you need to watch
hold
like
on, hold on.
Iron Blood or
Yes.
some shit, bro.
Thank you. I told him. Hold on. I told Rikki
Never.
last week. No. Listen. I told you last week. There's a show I want to suggest to you that even Joe won't finish because it gets him in the feels, and it's Iron Blooded Orphans.
It's so good. It is so good. I need to finish it. I really do need to finish it.
Season 2.
I like that. I don't know why. I'm a very like what they call an empath. Like
Yes.
seeing other people upset and hurt can bother me to almost a physical reaction.
Same. I'm extremely emotional person, bro.
Me too.
And
but
so if you look at my iPod, like let's just use that as an example. I have like 3,000 songs on there with like 25,000 more on the CPU ready to go in there, and it is the most off the wall random fucking shit. Like I'm OCD, so it's all ordered and separated into playlists and stuff. But the overall music in itself is just literally all over the place. And you'll be like, you're listening to this song? I'm like, this song makes me want to cry. Just listen. This person is putting his balls on this fucking song. Listen to it. Get past the whatever noise you're hearing and listen to his fucking voice. Not even the words. Just listen to him. I'm like, that's the shit I like. Oh, you hear this is classical piece? Like I've been on this kick. Vangelis. Some of you listen to classical. I know Joe listens to classical music.
Yeah.
The Chariots of Fire Vangelis. He has a song called Conquest of Paradise. It's the theme song from the movie Conquest of Paradise 1492 from the early 90s, the Christopher Columbus movie.
Oh, I know that
and
movie.
The theme song from it, the dun 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 dun, like that, and then it has the monk choir coming in behind it, dude. That shit, I will put it on repeat while I'm in the shower and just fucking listen to it. Like it just drives me.
It's like the Halo 3 theme.
Music is a very big thing to me. I think I told you, Shoki, is like I did violin for 7 years. I did cello for 3 years. I can pick out music on a piano. I'm not, and Joe, I know you play the piano. You play the piano. I fuck around on it.
No, it's not around on it.
Like,
you guys play the piano like I play the guitar.
I was never trained on it. The sheet music from violin is the same. It's it's the same kind of sheet music, so I can translate the notes. I can pick out a song on the piano. So I don't play the piano. I fuck around on the piano. So
your point is that you get emotionally invested in these things.
No, I want all the stuff that I purposely
that's what I meant.
Want the stuff that hits my emotions.
Yeah.
Like there's a rap song. Like, see, I'm telling you, all over the place. There's a rap song by this guy called Pastor Troy. It's called Vice Versa. And the whole entire song is like, what if everything we understand was flipped on its head? What if heaven was hell and hell was heaven? Everything that we think is good is bad, and everything that we think is bad is good. Like the whole entire song is like this. But ignoring the words, just the music. Like it kicks in. There's this whole almost full long minute intro of just music. I hear that music and I want to just punch somebody for no fucking reason. When before it got played out on regular radio play, Rough Riders would be the same thing. That dun 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 dun. That shit kicks in and immediately my fist ball up. I want to hit the closest person to me. I like music and I like movies and now obviously animes, things that create a reaction to my emotions. The not the joking Rikki that likes to play and talk a lot of shit. The Rikki that, like, when we got the feedback from Beansy about that bonus conversation we had where he's like, holy shit, I didn't know you had that in you. Like, I didn't know Rikki could talk like that and think like that. That Rikki, the Rikki that I don't put out there for everybody to see here because I don't know y'all like that.
Podcast Rikki.
That Rikki likes all that shit. I want all the feels to happen because when that Rikki's engaged, I don't feel like I feel anything.
See,
I feel like I become very analytical and almost robotic because I overthink everything.
Yeah.
So I want all those emotions pulled out in everything that I interact with and everything that I see, hear, and listen to.
See,
and that's why I want that in my anime.
So what's really funny is you just justified why you need to watch Doctor Who.
Well, I can't do that because I have good taste.
Well, fuck off. So no, the whole point is, like, you know how sometimes Joe will say like, "Oh, well, that's just anime," like literally like referring to a completely different show, but it's just like anime in a show.
Yeah.
Like, Doctor Who is that. Now, I will say, much like a lot of anime series, some of the early shit very goofy because they're still finding their legs. But like literally, if you get
times have changed
for sure. But like there are moments throughout the Doctor Who series, at least since 05, because I'm not going all the way back to the beginning. That are exactly that have these major emotional moments, but it's because you are empathic. You've been along the ride of these characters that when shit happens to them, you are fucking feeling what has happened to them. Like I put it in my top 15 emotional moments from TV and movies, several Doctor Who moments, several Star Trek moments, in fact, several anime moments. In fact, from Gurren Lagann and Naruto specifically, when I was talking about the death of Jiraiya, and then of course the final battle between Sasuke and Naruto. Well, everything leading up to that was goofy. The final actual fight between them, where they're finally getting through their bullshit, was important. But Doctor Who has those exact moments, and I push it because a lot of people have just skipped it over the decades, but also the same for anime. A lot of people just fucking skipped over it for that reason. Like, oh, it's just stupid kid shit, forgetting
this, Doctor Who you're telling me to watch. What time frame is this again? Like what year to what year?
What do you mean? When it came out?
Like you said Doctor Who from 2000 something.
Oh, 2005 is when it came back and got what we refer to as New Who, because there's time gaps, and you don't have to have watched any of the old shit from even way back when in the fucking 50s and 60s and all the way up through the 80s. You don't have to have seen all that to have a grasp of what happened. Does this New Who include the mannequin episode? Yes, that's why I said you have to get past the goofy shit.
I'm fucking out.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You have to get past it because if
Gurren Lagann started out with the first episode being wubba-dubba-dub-dub and people running around and doing goofy shit, guess what? Rikki would not have finished watching, and I would have missed those 3 or 4 episodes that are probably in the top, I would say top 20 of TV episodes that I've ever watched easily.
Yeah.
And I would have missed all those because of that first episode. Guess where Doctor Who falls? Yeah.
Well, see, like I said, you got to get past the goofy nonsense. You got to do, what's the rule? 3 in, 3 out.
3 and 3
that's Bobby's rule. That's Bobby's rule. I'm not Bobby. That's not Bobby.
Well,
that's not
in
Ricky's
this case,
rule.
you need to be
Ricky's
like Bobby.
Rule is if you start out with an episode about fucking mannequins that look like fucking retards running around acting all stupid, Rikki ain't watching no more of your episodes.
Okay, so in the same season that you're refusing to watch because of the first episode, you have an episode where the secondary character forces the Doctor to go back in time to the day that her dad died because she never got to meet him. So
super sad story. Did that season start with the fucking mannequin episode?
Yes.
And fuck that following
exactly.
episode.
So you can't go by first episode because they have to do the weird introduction. So shut up and watch it.
No,
but either way, I'm going back. I'm going to go briefly back to at least Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans because I'm the only one here who's watched it all the way through. It's on Netflix.
Amazing.
It's on Netflix.
Amazing.
Joe, you've really never finished it, Joe?
No, it's been on my list forever. I keep looking at it, and then I'm like, bro, do I have the emotional stability to watch this right now? And the answer is always no.
He literally won't finish it because it got him too much in the feels.
Yeah, it's really fucking good, and especially because I love like serious Gundam. Serious Gundam
It's serious Gundam. It's like, not bullshit Gundam.
It's great sci-fi, just great human story, great take on like war and humans and their place in war. That has more to do with the humans individually than them in a faction.
And what's great about, at least with
Gundam, Thunderbolt is fucking amazing.
It's so weird though. It's amazing.
I didn't watch not part 2, not December Sky, but
not
like,
December Sky. Okay, so the original one, Bandit Flower, yeah. So like, but no, you're right. But also the best thing about Gundam in that aspect is that with serious Gundam, as you say, the sides don't matter as to who's the good guy or who's the bad guy.
It doesn't.
Because at least through Iron-Blooded Orphans, the whole time, the heroes are actually technically the bad guys in that story.
Well, spoiler alert.
Well, no, but that's the point. That's the point of view.
But that's the point. Like, it makes you Gundam makes you think what is good guy, what is bad guy.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's not a spoiler. That's the concept.
This is a movie or a show?
Show.
It's a show. I really don't want to say a show.
Almost.
It's on
Thunderbolts
Netflix?
is a movie. Thunderbolts is much shorter.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Most of the Gundam stuff is on Netflix. I still haven't watched Hathaway
I'm
Slash yet.
I'm trusting the fact that Joe can't finish it over the fact that you're telling me to watch.
That's why I
Well,
said
I've been saying I will finish it for like 2 years, but I definitely will before I die.
Since we talked,
I just don't know when that is.
Since we talked last,
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. 3 years ago.
Yeah,
that was 2019.
I'll run that after Gurren
Lagann. I feel like I need to finish it before Rikki because that's real fucking sad if I don't.
Yeah, because you're in season 2, right? You're in season 2. You just didn't finish it.
I'm in season 2. Yeah, I just didn't finish it. Yeah.
Okay.
How about this? You know, like set a goal. How about you have it finished before the end of May?
That should be the case because I assume you'd be done with it by the end of May.
Yeah, he could plow through it pretty easy.
And then we could talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, because it because that was one we did review almost on a weekly basis, and then we started either way. So, but
how many episodes is it or seasons?
23 times
the standard.
2, so
mid-20s is how much 50, like a general anime.
56. I think it's 56 episodes total.
So it's 2 seasons.
2 seasons. Yep. Now the second season, just fair warning. Because everybody,
hold on.
I'm not spoiling anything. I'm not spoiling anything.
I'm not worried about the spoiling. I'm not worried about the spoiling. If you're going to tell me that season 2 kind of drops off and it's not as good, I'm not going to bother with season 1. So if you're going to say anything in that area,
I'm going to say why people criticize season 2, and it's a fair criticism. It's the pacing is fucked because they should have had 3 seasons and they had to cram a 3-season story into 2 seasons. So
it's like we were talking about where they speed up that pacing to get to the end of the story.
The back half of season 2 gets incredibly accelerated. Now, to me, it doesn't affect the story. I still loved it for what it was, but you feel that weird pacing the back half of the second season.
To be fair, season 1, like it's when it ends an arc. Like you can finish. Like season 1 is a complete story. You don't have to watch season 2.
Yeah. Yeah,
gotcha.
Season 2 completes the whole story.
You could stop at that time skip. You don't have to go forward.
That's like a very anime thing. Yeah.
Yes. So that is the fair point. But like a lot of people heftily criticize season 2 for that reason. But if you look at it as they should have had 3 seasons, but Gundam doesn't do 3 seasons because it's so dumb. And like, while I appreciate
doesn't the term Gundam translate to just 2 seasons?
No, it translates to we didn't let the original series finish because nobody understood what he was doing. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, and but there's a lot of good Gundam series just depending on where you're at. You know, the 90s standards of Gundam Wing and stuff like that.
I'm
not saying it's good. Not saying it's good. I'm saying it is. I know
there's a lot of people grew up on that because that's what was brought to America. And when I say Gundam, and people, Gundam Wing, and I just fucking cringe. I was like, no, bro, I'm talking about real Gundam.
I see, but that's why I love
like the Double O version of it.
No, it's not.
It's a boy band Power Ranger version of it. Not to have anything against boy bands or Power Rangers because I like both, but I don't want boy bands or Power Rangers in my Gundam.
But they are definitely, argumentatively, what's the word I'm looking for? Either way, arguably the most iconic Gundams in America came from that series.
Yeah, because they're like fucking Power Rangers. They're fucking themed. I don't want to get into it.
No, you're right. I'm not arguing.
Boy band Power Rangers. That's my new shit.
It is really just type in the fucking Google image search fucking
Gundam Wing
Gundam or Gundam Wing. You will see that they are just boy band covers with robots.
Yes.
That's
true.
Awesome.
It's very true. But the funny thing is, the same thing applies to Double O, but it was a better story.
Yeah, but I'm really into UC for that reason. And that's why I'm so impressed with IBO. I'm Blood Orphan because it went back to the roots of it is a spin-off universe that is also serious and not just a trope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because a lot of Gundams are just tropes, and also they're just retelling on the same story. They're just retelling UC Century. They're just retelling the satellite colonies and Earth, right? You don't.
Seed and Seed Destiny.
Story.
Yes, Seed and Seed.
Except for Origins, Gundam Origins is fucking amazing, and they need to keep doing that.
Yeah,
I meant to tell Joe, we actually something you said to me has become a catchphrase for him and Mike now. Like, especially when we were talking about Gurren Lagann, I told him about our conversation that we had about it. So now their new favorite thing is just keep watching. Because I told him, I was like, that was his answer.
Just keep watching.
Yeah,
When I texted him,
just keep watching, bro.
Holy shit, what the fuck? They just killed him off. What the fuck? He's like, just keep watching. I'm like, 5 minutes later, after I unpaused it and he was still okay, I was like, oh my God, thank God he's fine. Joe,
just keep watching.
Just keep watching.
So now him and Michael say that shit to me in the messenger group. I'll be like, oh, I saw such and such just happened to, like, just keep watching. Yep. That's like all they say to me now.
Yep, just keep watching. It's like, so that's the thing is like, look, we don't want to spoil it, but we want to motivate you. So it's like, no, you have to keep fucking watching.
You have to keep going, bro.
Yeah.
There's more. There's more.
It just doesn't apply to Doctor Who, apparently.
Yeah, what?
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about.
The just keep watching thing doesn't apply to Doctor Who, apparently.
No, because it was trash.
Yeah, that first episode was trash. It gets way better after that. Like 5 episodes in, like 5 episodes later, it's a significantly better show.
That's like telling my wife, hey, look, the first 20 minutes of sex is going to be garbage. It's going to be straight trash.
Okay,
but
so
let's make it to minute 25. I'm going to rock your fucking world.
Okay, well,
like,
look at it this way.
After 15 minutes, I'm like, get off of me.
Okay, so after the very stupid mannequin episode, the next episode, they literally go to the death of Earth.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did they have an episode with stupid mannequins running around in it?
Not after that. No, I'm talking about Doctor Who. The next episode, after the mannequin episode, they go to the death of the Earth as their next episode.
They ruined it by starting with the mannequin episode. If they'd started it with like the one you were talking about, the girl never meeting her dad, I probably would have burned through. And
well, you've got no character building at that point. You don't even know who the fuck Rose is. But
their character building was, hey, here's a bunch of fucking mannequins. That's how they decided to start character building. That made me think this character's stupid and I don't want to watch this show.
Well, the mannequins were the only reason why you brought Rose into the story at all, because she worked in a shop that had mannequins.
Oh, yeah, because they could have definitely not done it any other way.
Well, you got to understand that the point of Doctor Who is, an alien who learns about humanity, so to speak, through his companions who travel with him. But the other the mannequins are the enemy of the week. It's a fucking bad guy of the week show, told through time.
Joe, have you ever watched Doctor Who?
Very little. Some of the new Who's. I watched when he found out he was going backwards to River. They're going back in time.
Yep.
You can't spoil. Look, you don't tell them about spoiling Doctor Who.
That was a good season. That was a really good season. I enjoyed it, but not enough for me to keep going though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like you've jumped.
Not enough for me to go back, and not enough for me to go forward.
Yeah,
but
that's a
at the same time at the same time say that what I did watch was good.
Yeah. So that's the problem is
Joe, in Joe I trust. I'm not listening to that.
Well, because he took some random episodes from one of the best seasons. Yes. It's like that's the hard part, is because that's also that's 2 Doctors later from what you saw. That's the problem.
So now you're telling me I don't have to make it through the first 5 episodes. I got to make it through 2 different fucking Doctors. Get the fuck out of here, man. No, thank you.
No, you have to get through 2. No, the problem is that it's one gigantic fucking storyline. So what he saw.
I'll stay the Batman nut. You stay the Whovian, and we'll stay in our corners and just agree on everything else.
Well, here's the problem: is like you saying you won't watch any Doctor Who because of the mannequins is like if I gave up on Batman at Bat Nipples.
A lot of people have.
Yeah, and see what they've missed. And what have they missed? And what have they fucking missed?
I mean, a couple good movies.
Several good movies and several good.
But animated series was before that, so the good stuff came before the shit. They didn't start with the shit and then move to the good.
I mean, when you're only obsessed with the animated series, yes.
Well, I'm obsessed with all Batman. You know better than that, so you can even go with the movie.
The animated series is the best Batman. I mean, to be fair.
Oh, it is.
Let's
not even argue about that.
Let's go with the actual very first Detective Comics 27. Batman had guns. Batman killed people. Joker was introduced in that comic, and Batman shot him to death at the end of that comic. That was the very first comic, so they did not start off with mannequins and then tell me that it gets better later.
Yes, but they had to retcon the weapons and make him to where he doesn't shoot people anymore.
They didn't retcon the weapons. They just took them away.
That's what I'm saying. It's like he doesn't shoot people anymore because they changed the character.
Mm-hmm. That's fine, but that was later.
Yeah. Well, they also changed.
Sure kids didn't want to go around killing people, but they didn't start off with a mannequin episode. They didn't start off with 66 Batman and then tell me, oh, one day you'll get Christopher Nolan's Batman. They didn't do that shit.
Just because, yeah. But the thing is, if you wanted, but that's also not the same story. You can't even throw that together. Doctor Who is at least one long story.
Batman's one long ass story.
No, but I'm saying 66 Batman has nothing to do with the Nolanverse Batman. They're not the same Batman.
Sure does. It's Batman.
It's not the same Batman.
Well, no. Well, then Doctor Who's not the same story because it's different actors played them. You see what I'm saying?
But it's the same character. It is literally.
It's the same character. It's Bruce Wayne dressed up as a bat fighting crime because his parents got killed. It's the same character.
Yeah, but you already understand that the Doctor is the same Doctor the whole time, just because he's played.
And you already understand that it's Batman dressed up fighting crime the whole time.
That's fucking.
Doesn't matter what suit he's wearing or how goofy the music is in the background. It's still the same shit.
You're comparing apples and fried chicken. It's not even a fruit.
No, you're trying to justify your bullshit with my awesomeness. That's
Joe,
not the same thing.
Joe, you understand the difference here?
I'm not even a fan of Batman, bro.
Okay, but I'm saying you understand that every Batman's a different Batman?
Yeah. The other universes where Doctor Who is one universe.
Doctor Who is one character across 50 fucking years of TV show. It's not rebooted every time. It's not a different fucking thing every time. It's the same character.
It's a reboot every time. They just tell you it's the same character.
It's the same continuity. It's the same character. It's the same. There's callbacks to shit from 50 years ago the same Doctor went through. You're not talking about different doctors. They're different Time Lords.
They do that in Batman, and they literally do the different timeline callbacks. They literally do that in the comics too.
Yes, but you don't have fucking you don't have the Batman talking about how he fucking surfed with the Joker in one episode.
But you don't know what they're going to do in the second movie.
You're just being a dick at this point.
No, every time you bring one thing up and I shoot it down with proof, you're like, okay, well then it's not this. And
because Batman isn't the same.
It's not this.
Superman's not the same either.
Superman's stupid.
Unicron's the same because Unicron is technically the same Unicron across all universes.
Yeah.
Same thing with Galactus, right? Galactus just goes from one thing to the other. Or is reborn as a new Galactus.
Let's go back to before we start talking about stupid old Doctor Who.
Well, either way, we've gone on for 3.5 hours and we still have to finish the fucking weeks that we never finished recording. So,
I don't even care about my weeks, man. I finally got to talk to Joe, and this was a blast. This is what I like about doing this, is because to the outside world, the normies, they're like, oh, Rikki has Batman tattoos, he has Transformer figures, they're just sitting on there talking about, today I saw that. But man, we talked about some really, really deeply moving stuff in this episode.
Yes,
it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. It was really good. That's why I like this, and I knew I was going to enjoy actually being able to interact with Joe, going from again that like the mind thing I like to do, trying to figure out how people talk. I knew from having listened to him that this was not going to be Joe just going.
I'm the same. I'm the same no matter where or when you find me. Yeah. You're not going to get that different from me, bro.
I like that.
Yeah, Joe is the same across all timelines.
No. I am Doctor Who.
Exactly. See, Joe gets it.
And then I know you exist to do
that's why you look younger the older you get.
In your house. God damn it.
He's a Time Lord. That's why. He looks younger the older he gets.
No, well, you already know how that's going to happen. He's going to be this young until he's not this young. And then
and I'll raise him immediately overnight. I'll be fucking Shang Tsung overnight, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be fucking Mr. Miyagi one day.
Joe's going to be 87 and then just suddenly the muscles will be gone. He's going to be wrinkly, got fucking liver spots everywhere. Most of his hair is going to be gone out of nowhere. Yep. And then he's just going to be sitting down at the corner with a little hat on, smoking a cigar or a cigarette and fucking playing Mahjong.
He's gonna have the long ass coat pinky nails. Like he's gonna have
I don't know if it would go that far.
SWAT smoking a fucking marble light on a curb somewhere.
Either on a curb or a stoop or a stool.
Yep.
Dude, I don't like
down at the corner store probably.
This is gonna sound so fucked up. But every time I don't know if this is the proper term. I don't know if this is the proper term or not, but this is how I've always called them like this. I call them coolie hats, the round
that's what they are.
Yep. Woven hats. Okay.
That's even a Canadian term.
Every time you guys ever talked about that on Nerd Rage, where you're like squatting down, smoking a Marlboro Light, in my head, this is exactly what I picture. White tank top, red board shorts for some reason, flip flops, you with a coolie hat on, and a bamboo fishing pole, squatted down, smoking a Marlboro Light.
I'm
Fishing.
sure that's an anime trope too.
That's exactly the image we're going for.
Yeah,
That's exactly the look.
Yeah.
My head. Like I'm like, holy fuck! And then he stands up and he just starts fucking people up, man.
Yeah. No, Joe's going to be the guy who's like bent over, hunched over, and look exactly like that. And then he's going to fucking pick a car off of somebody because he's jacked as fuck underneath. He's going to be the 1,000-year-old.
Bro.
He's going to be the 1,000-year-old senpai who's fucking strong as fuck but doesn't look like anything, right?
Bro, Master Roshi.
Yeah, Master Roshi.
Like, that's my goal. My end
said-
goal in life is to be Master Roshi. Just fucking be like jacked and ripped when he wants to be.
Dude, are you going to wear a fucking turtle shell on your back?
I mean, if I have to.
I think you should. Just in
I
general.
have to.
If someone gives me one, I will.
But who's going to be your
Nice.
Bulma? You're
I
gonna,
don't know what that is, but it's
Any young thing, bro.
you're gonna need a Bulma.
Give me the young ladies, bro, please.
Dude, hey, and Roshi's still fucking kicking ass even in Super. So, you know, he's like 300 some odd fucking years old at this point, and he's still going and even gets the respect of the fucking god of destruction. That's what really fucking matters.
Roshi, man, he taught fucking Goku, bro.
Yeah. It's like, if you watched through Super, at least when they got to the fucking, I know you probably didn't, you might have given up, but whenever they're in the universe survival arc near the end, and then
Is
Roshi's.
Roshi the bald guy with the goatee? Always has sunglasses.
Yes, that's Master Roshi.
Nice.
Yep.
See, I didn't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, shit, he's fucking, at this point, he's pop culture, you know.
Yeah, my old roommate was huge into Dragon Ball. He named his dog like Goku and Vegeta, whatever the green guy is.
Vegeta. What the green guy is Piccolo.
Piccolo, whatever. I don't know. I know names because we used to talk about it all the time.
But it's just, you know who Beerus is at least, right, Joe?
Nope, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I need them to make the movies because I like the movies. Like the series is not too long. Just condense it to the movies and I watch them.
Yeah, they need to do the reverse.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God! Please
Shut up!
don't.
Shut
why?
up! Ricky's gone. Ricky's fired.
Why did we bring that up? Why?
Don't.
I could go the rest of my life without hearing about that.
Ricky, you just ruined your relationship with Joe.
Batman.
You just ruined your relationship with Joe. No, but either way, so they're literally every universe is fighting for survival. They want to pare down the 13 universes or 12 universes down to like 6. So half the universes are gone. Everybody who loses this tournament gets, sent up to the stands. When everybody on that team is gone, their universe completely gets erased. So you're literally
we need that with like Marvel and DC, bro.
Exactly.
So it's Mortal Kombat.
It's more like Secret Wars. It's like Secret Wars. Yeah.
They blow up all the other universes.
They blow up all the other universes. Whoever's left gets merged into one. In this case, they're only leaving it down to like 6. So there's like the strongest ones. Everybody brings the strongest fighters. So obviously Roshi's on the team. All the Z fighters are on the team. All this kind of stuff. A few people, all bald people, all get knocked out at the beginning of the fight. Sadly, they fucking disrespect.
Just because they're bald.
Not just because, but it was a trend. The first 3 people out from our universe are all bald white guys. So it is what it is.
No wonder Bobby doesn't like anime.
Exactly.
Y'all some sick motherfuckers.
But the fact that Roshi himself is literally fucking standing up to like some insanely strong people. Like he's like 300 years old. He's not even in his buff form as he's fighting. He's outsmarting people. He's using the Mafuba to seal people away instead of fucking trying to beat them. Or he's tricking them and then knocking themselves out instead of fucking actually beating their asses. And it gets to the point where he's having to have
smarter, not harder, bro.
Yeah, he was working smarter, not harder. So he's fighting the alternate universe version of Frieza. And this dude is literally just pounding the fuck out of Roshi, so to speak. And and he keeps getting up, just like Goku, reverse taught him, you just keep fucking standing up regardless. So he's beat to shit and he's finally standing up. And then ultimately there's a mercy drop off eventually. They let him, he can't fight anymore. So they just mercifully drop him off. So he goes out of bounds and whatever. But while he's still getting back up, still standing up to this asshole who's 1,000,000 times stronger than him, Beerus, the god of destruction at this point, who doesn't bother to learn your name if you're not useful to him at all. He just kept calling him old man or whatever. But he respects Goku and he respects Vegeta. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody else on the team, essentially, except for Frieza, because Frieza was supposed to be the next god of destruction. So he literally leans over to, I think it was Tien or whoever else was there, and said, "Hey, you, what was that old man's name again?" When he wasn't standing up. And then when he finally gets knocked out, he actually stands up and acknowledges and actually calls him, what's his full name? Is it Haten Roshi? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So he literally, the god of destruction, literally stands up and fucking shows him respect. you know, so he's a real G, as it were.
Respect what respect is due, bro.
Yeah, literally. So, you know, that whole series went way too long. You know how they do. You know, you set a time limit and then you blow it way the fuck out. So it's supposed to be 48 minutes. They stretched it out, I think, to fucking 32 episodes. But had some of the best fucking fights on the planet and introduced all kinds of new shit. And then they haven't bothered to make a new series after the fact. But the whole idea of somebody ultimately super strong for a human who's ancient as fuck, you know, looked down upon by everybody else, and not all these things. That's how I want to see Joe when he's fucking 87. You know,
I live that long, shit.
Yeah, you probably will. Dude, you should outlive the rest of us. I mean, you're walking through the Rona. You know, whereas a lot of other people.
Rona didn't like. I didn't even know I had the Rona. Like,
yeah, you got bullshit Rona.
Yeah, bro. Like I was fine. Krista was like, "You feel hot?" I'm like, "I'm always hot, bro." Like she said, "No, man. You like I
That's
can
why
feel
you're
the
mostly
heat emanating
naked.
off of you."
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm fucking like. She's like, "No, I can feel the heat emanating off of you." He's like, "Take a temperature." I was like, "Okay." And I was like 102 point something. I was like, "Oh, I guess I have a fever."
Yep.
And then she was like, "You should test for Rona." I'm like, "Oh yeah, shit. I didn't even think about that because like it doesn't even cross my mind."
Yeah.
And then test positive. I'm like, "Oh, I guess I have the Rona." And then go back to eating dinner.
Exactly. That sucks. Can't go to work tomorrow.
Yep.
But either way, I think it's a good place to go ahead and wrap up since we went through everything essentially. And
that's a segue, people. This is a segue.
This is not a segue. This is just us coming to the end.
Segueing you to the ending.
Yes. So either way, Ricky's going to segue himself the fuck out of this episode here in a minute.
Too late. We already said everything we needed to. Fuck y'all.
Exactly. Yeah. So either way, I do want to thank Joe for coming and joining us over here. You know, taking his spare time after he got off work.
No problem.
Always
very much appreciate it.
It's been fun,
dude. It's always fantastic to talk to you. It's like the fact that like this is only the second time you and I have sat down and had a conversation in 3 fucking years. It's a little sad. But definitely go subscribe to Nerd Rage Radio on all the things. Go check out the Terrible Hime on Twitch, where you'll definitely see Joe always out there with no shirt on.
Yeah, you see too much of me in booty shorts.
Seriously.
You want to see my fucking dick flop around inside my shorts when I gyrate? Come on through.
And he gyrates a lot.
Now.
He gyrates a lot.
Up right now.
Dude, the streams are very...
Krista, thank you for sharing y'all's time with us. Thank you for letting us have some of your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And yes, by all means. You don't have to subscribe, but at least go follow the Terrible Hime.
Yeah, whatever the word is. That word.
Well, the reason I'm differentiating... Well, I am a subscriber. It does renew every month because I'm just kind like that.
Yes, we more than appreciate it. It's an unnecessary, bro.
Well, I kind of forget to turn it off anyway, so it's like,
that's how Twitch tricks you.
It's like
Twitch tricks you. Auto renewal. By the time you remember, you forget again the next time.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I'm supporting people I like and that I care about. Yeah, fuck it. What do I care? It's a few bucks. I mean, I pay $10 just to watch Bobby talk bullshit in the background anyways. So it's like I support you on Nerd Rage. I'm supporting you guys over there on the Twitch. And then, you know, we got Rikki over here also available to Nerd Rage. You know, go check out his promos that he puts together for them. When are you going to start doing promos for us?
Never.
Exactly. That's what I thought. He won't even do promos for his own show that he's a part of.
No, but I like Nerd Rage.
Hey, at least he went back and finally listened to all the past episodes he wasn't a part of on here.
Yeah,
so that's good.
I did play catch up.
Yep. So I mean, it's not that hard. 7 episodes. So, and then of course, Mike's not here because he's sick too. He doesn't have the Rona, but he's got something. So hopefully Mike gets better. Oh, one thing I didn't get to mention on this episode because I was planning on talking about it elsewhere, or I guess we didn't quite get to it in our weeks as of recording this. But my dad just found out today. My dad broke his ankle the other day and fell down again. So he's not doing great, and my mom's having to deal with all his bullshit. So shout out to
man, your dad's having a rough one, dude.
Yeah. So shout out to the old man. Fucking stop hurting yourself. I mean, it wasn't necessarily his fault. I think he stepped in some mud and slipped and fucking twisted and broke his ankle. So that sucks. But either way, I was trying to talk about Mike, the other old man. So go subscribe to the Comic Relief Crusader on YouTube. I will share to his new Facebook group, also in the description down below. Check out the Freelance Graphics, his merch page where you can buy all the shit from him. And then, of course, all the SHOKY and SHOKY related things. If you are interested in contacting us directly, you can either leave a comment on the video or wherever it is you're watching this thing or listening to it, or you could email us at NowYouMadeItAwkwardPodcast @NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail. I was reading the fucking logo. at gmail.com, link down below. And if you want to buy any merch, we do have that. I was drinking alcohol out of my new mug today, and while I have a lot of issues of how it got to me, it's still a fantastic thing. So if you do want to monetarily help us out, you can buy merch, t-shirts and what like that. I think I need to send Joe a tank top.
You don't have to, but if you do, I'll wear it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
promo. It's free.
I say
it's
we
free
get,
promo.
hey, look, my wife for Christmas last year I got her the newest Cricket, and this year I got her a sublimation set and the press and all that. We need to make him booty shorts with the Now You Made It Awkward logo on it, and he can wear that.
Sponsored, bro, like
Dude,
a fucking MMA fighter. I wear logos on my shit on stream, bro.
If we could make him some Naimia booty shorts, I'm down for it.
Dude, we can literally just get me light colored booty shorts, and we can do it from there.
I don't know where to buy those.
Joe?
Same place with my C strings, bro.
Oh, logoed C string. Yes.
Enough space. I don't think there's enough space on the C string to like promo,
there's
bro.
space. No. You get to see. No. No, they have the version that comes around as a tramp stamp. It actually is right above the butt crack, and you can put a logo there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I when I searched it, that was the first thing that came up.
Oh, y'all! First of all, y'all searches are fucked now. Mine's still not.
Dude,
So,
like
that's
with the
gonna
porns I watched, like my search history has been fucked. My FBI guys like stopped looking at my shit years ago.
No, dude, they're very interested.
Like, this guy is fucked, and I'm not watching this anymore. I'll just pretend he's okay.
You know it's bad when the CIA won't even monitor you anymore.
Yeah, bro.
They're like, nope,
He's
we're
just
out.
on the permanent fucking bad list.
Yes. All right.
See, what I did was when they first did all that shit with the smartphones, when people talking about the government could turn your cameras on and off and all that shit, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like everybody flipping out and all that. Not me. Once a week, I go sit on my toilet and I just point the camera right at my tank for a good 10 solid minutes. And I'm like, if y'all gonna look, y'all gonna see the good stuff.
Well, I mean, all they basically did was watch a whole bunch of fat people masturbate. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
all right. And on that note, that's a perfect place to end this. And Joe, since you're new here, we'll cue you in. We just end this with a, okay, bye.
Bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.